There is one girl that has blocked me.
What did you say?
Send her.
Yeah. Unsolicited disc pics?
No disc pics. That's what OnlyFans is.
G'day guys, Ray with Disc Golf Comedy here to do a celebrity endorsement for the Unstable Discourse podcast, a podcast about disc golf. So the guys and or gals at the podcast I just mentioned are absolutely amazing. I listen to every single episode of the Unstable Discourse podcast, a podcast about disc golf, and I really think that you're going to enjoy the episode. All right. Hey, I don't know if this is where I should leave this, but guys, if you want to just pay me, my PayPal is tylerbrickley@gmail.com. Just send the $5,000 there. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the episode if you can. Peace out.
Hey guys, it's Jason here again with a new intro, and this is Unstable Discourse. And if you haven't yet, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit that bell to stay notified when we upload new episodes.
Welcome into season 2 of Unstable Discourse.
Yeah, boy. Two.
We back. It's your boys, Alex Seminary of Disc Golf Chicago, Ryan Fancher of Unstable Disc Golf Gear.
Yes, sir.
Sean Callahan of Delwood Disc Golf.
What up, y'all?
Jason Callahan of Bag of Tricks.
Hi.
And we are joined by Ryan Miller of Caddie Disc Golf.
What up?
Our very first guest of season 2. Ryan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And you made a trip to get down here.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours. Not too bad.
And you came down from Wisconsin?
Just west of Milwaukee.
Just
so
west
like
of
15
Milwaukee.
minutes out of Milwaukee.
Waukesha?
I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Waukesha in the house?
Does this make Ryan our furthest traveling guest thus far?
I believe it does, yes. Yeah.
Wow. Breaking records right out of the gate,
yeah.
bro.
Right?
Take it.
FTG.
What a kickoff to season 2.
It's nice to be able to actually break a disc golf record.
Guys, it is so good to be back. We put out a couple of bonus episodes to kind of tide us over, and they were fun. We all had a good time.
They were.
But this,
The groove.
back
in it.
we're back in the groove.
There's
And
heat in the shop this time.
feels
This
good.
time last year, we had no heat in the shop.
Wow.
Remember that?
Yeah.
we have heat, and we have a bigger shop.
We have a much bigger shop.
bigger
by
shop.
33% to be
Yeah.
exact.
If you haven't been to Delwood in a minute, come check it out. Sean has just finished some renovations. It caught me off guard when I walked up. I was like, wait, the door's not,
Right.
the door's
I'm not
different.
outside, but under a roof. And wait,
Yeah. So it's big changes, and we've got some new things that we're doing for season 2. We've hinted at some of the stuff on social media, and we talked about it toward the end of last season. I'm not going to spoil all the surprises right out of the gate. Just keep listening, you'll see.
hang out
Yeah.
with us.
Just be cool, man. All right.
be cool, man.
In case I haven't made it clear yet, we're coming to you guys from the Delwood Disc Golf Shop at the world famous Canyons at Delwood Park.
Number 8 in the world, too. New world ranking. Dropped
Yeah.
from number 5.
That's a good thing, right? Like that just means that there's more
I
good
will say
courses
this is what
popping
I've been
up.
telling everybody. If there were more ratings being pumped into what that becomes, then still being in the top 10 has got to be a good thing, right?
Yep.
Completely.
Yeah.
Because that just goes to show how good it really is.
Of course. And how
From
much the sport is growing.
people's
Like
opinion.
more
Yes.
courses are popping up, more
Yes.
players are getting out there.
That's a nice.
Ryan being here is something that we'll get to at the heart of the episode. Caddie Disc Golf, if you're not familiar with it, that is the brand that Ryan runs, and there's a lot of moving pieces to that. We'll get to it later. Before we get to that, you
Maybe.
guys, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Before we get to that, though, you know how things go. We start this whole thing with Fired Up.
God damn it.
It was so sexual.
Just gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. Is that what you call boners?
Is it?
Now imagine that I just whispered that on the back of your neck.
Is it getting warm in here?
On the
It's
back
like
of
a
your
Peter
neck.
Parker moment where the hair stood up.
Yes. That's what I had on my mind when I said it.
Do it one more time.
Yeah.
Fired up.
So breathy.
It is.
It's going to be my new text tone.
Yeah.
Ryan, what are you fired up about?
Which one? Wait.
Oh shit! We got
Should
two
we
Ryans.
establish this like first grade?
No.
Ryan
we have
M
a
and Ryan
and we
F?
have a Fanny.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fanny, what are you fired up about?
I still don't like it.
I know, but it's good because you don't like it.
Yeah.
Just let it happen.
Okay, Sean, what are you fired up about?
Well, I am fired up about. Hopefully, I'm stealing Ryan's because. Okay, I'm not. Good. In 8 days, Sheila and I are leaving to go to Arizona. 8 days. I'm going early. You don't know that, yes. Yes, you know that.
I knew that, but I
Yes.
just, in
8
my
days,
head, I
yes.
didn't realize it was coming
Next Friday,
up
the 19th.
this quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Continue.
8 days. Well, we're going out to Arizona first
Touche.
in an attempt to spectate at the All-Star Weekend, which has no spectators. We'll see how that goes. Because it's at Fountain Hills. It's a public park. There's technically no spectators at All-Star Weekend DGPT.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up because I was
Yes.
about to ask you a really dumb question of, are you talking about baseball or
No.
disc golf?
Disc golf.
Arizona, that's a valid question.
See, that's why
Cactus
I was
Which
and
is
I was
happening
like, Sean, do
very
you care about
soon
baseball?
because normally when we're down there,
Sure.
it's
Yeah, Cactus
But no,
League.
yeah,
Yeah.
DGPT,
Sick.
Disc Golf All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
And Sheila's
So-
coming.
Sheila's coming. So we would normally be going down to the Memorial this time of year in Arizona, but that is not part of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So we switched our plans this year to go to Vegas instead, but the All-Star Weekend was just the weekend before it, and just the other morning we were like, hey, why don't we just leave 5 days earlier and then go to that as well, and then we'll just drive from Phoenix area up to Vegas. So that's what we're doing.
How dope is it to be just a grown-up who has your shit together and can just
Very
do-
dope.
You can just do things like that. Like,
Just kind of peace out for 12 days. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's amazing.
He asked me
awesome.
also, well, continue.
That's what I'm fired up about. That was it.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, and also we're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It's one long trip.
Okay. Yeah, well, I am also fired. This is not my fired up.
Oh,
But I'm also fired
Hijack.
up about actually going somewhere that doesn't have 12 inches of snow
Right.
for at least 3 days. We were going to spectate at the Las Vegas challenge. And that is now not going to happen. They are very adamant about no spectators. Like,
Escorting you off of the property, I was told,
correct. So
by the TD.
that is a big bummer, but
We're still going to be in the desert,
we're going to be in the desert and I'm bringing my
so we're
disc
going to
golf
make
bag
the
and
best of it
it's
and just
not going to matter.
go golf.
Yeah.
It is a bummer because I really was excited to spectate at that course, especially. And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do, man?
Yeah.
Can't cancel the vacay because it's still at the end of the day, it was a vacation for us this time of year always. So
Yeah. Actually, my wife looked at me and she was like, you're flying Southwest, so you can just cancel it and they won't charge you. And then we locked eyes for like a solid 15 seconds. And then she said,
kiss me, Ryan.
no.
yeah,
She said, or you could probably just still go. And I was like, yeah, we're definitely doing that.
still going.
Still going.
she read the room.
Yeah. So,
Smart woman.
yeah.
I have a feeling you guys will find plenty to entertain yourselves. down
Yes.
Yeah.
Sick Airbnb, hot tub. We're going to be having good times. Good
Awesome.
times.
Yep.
Not jealous at all. Next, Jason, what are you fired up about?
Do you want to go?
I can go.
I thought you
Let
just
Ryan
did.
go.
No, I said
He
that.
said that
was
wasn't
not
his
his
fired
fired
up.
Oh, I'm a bad listener.
Bad listener.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Fanny.
Ryan F.
Fancy.
So for the longest time, Unstable Disc Golf had what I would say was mediocre logos because I did them myself out of necessity and
Not true, but go ahead.
whatever. I was never happy with them. And so this year, this off season, I vowed to have someone actually kind of put something together that I liked. And so I hired a graphic designer to do it for me. Sometimes the best option is to just let someone that doesn't know anything about it have a stab at it. And I looked at a bunch of portfolios online. I actually went through Reddit, believe it or not. Looked at a ton of different portfolios, picked a couple of guys that I thought were outstanding, sent some details, and the one guy got back to me and just at first was not quite understood what I wanted, and we went back and forth, and then he nailed it, and I think it is badass. So I have a new logo. I have always wanted a squirrel to be integrated into my logo in some form or another. I don't know why. That's just always been in my head, and we did it, and it's awesome, and it will be debuting at the shop. I've already brought some stuff. I've got some hats. I've got some sweatshirts.
We'll
It's
have it
pretty awesome.
tomorrow.
Let me just clear this up a little because you said you think it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's clown horn awesome.
Yeah.
It's so dope. When you sent it to me, I like threw my phone across the room like he's done it.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
perfect.
Normally, when I would do it, I would get something together and I would look at it and I'd say, this is great. And then 2 hours later, I'd look at it and say, this is garbage, and then delete it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I've actually paid someone to do it, and
You
it
have
looks
no
awesome,
choice
like-
but to
So
love
it did actually come from Redditor artist guy.
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay. Do you want to shout him out?
I can. I don't.
Username Meat Rocket 44.
Yeah, his name's Harvey. He lives in the Philippines.
Oh,
Cool
so-
guy, 42069.
Yeah. He was badass.
Super cool.
If anybody's looking for artwork, he was incredibly reasonable. I actually expressed to him that he should be charging far more because he is selling himself short.
how does that feel?
Yeah, shut up. But
I only say that to
yeah.
you once a week on
yeah,
average.
he was great.
It was weird to me, like when this whole thing popped up, that my logo guy needed a logo guy.
yeah.
I was like, wait,
You're like, have I
what do
been a
you mean?
fool all these years?
Figure it out, dude.
I mean, like, as a barber, you don't try and cut your own hair. You go to somebody that, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I felt the same way. Like, I was too involved. I needed somebody else to
Fair.
take a stab at.
Yeah,
it.
fair.
So it is very athletic style. It is a little bit,
Which is great.
Yeah, I think it's great. So it's got the feel that I want, and so
Because it's a sport, not a game.
That's right.
See what I did there?
ooh, I like that.
I can't
We
wait
should
for
put that
people
on
to
a
see
shirt.
it. Honestly, I already wear all the unstable stuff I can because I've always loved the logo and what you've done with your designs, but it took another step forward. So you guys should be excited for
Well,
that.
I'm stoked. So that's it.
J-Man, what are you fired up about?
2 things, if that's okay.
Nope. You're going to get 0 now.
20 minutes. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Timeout.
No, 2 quick things. First one is a number I want to throw out there. And that number
42069.
is 10,000.
Oh, yeah.
We need to discuss that season 1 of
Yeah.
Unstable Discourse hit 10,000 listens on the day Mighty Joe was inaugurated, I might add. So,
Are you calling Joe Biden Mighty Joe?
Mighty Joe, sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah, no, he is quite the opposite of
Mighty Joe
Young.
Old.
Mighty Joe Old got inaugurated. Yeah, that day. So
Joe Old.
I want to give a big shout out to everybody that got season 1 to 10,000 listens. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe
You should take some, like 50% of the credit?
easily. Yeah. Me, it's I'll take 49%. The other 49% will go to Joe Moore, and then the remaining 2% is who I'm shouting out right now. So those 2% of listeners that got us to 10,000.
the
Thank you
2%.
very much.
Awesome. Yeah.
We should drop some type of like audio fanfare right here as a little thank you.
Right?
No.
You are my everything, nothing your love will bring.
Okay, why did you do the 98 Degrees song again? That's not what it should have been.
Nice try. Nice try.
Should be some kind of audio fanfare to get people excited.
Like right
No.
now.
Okay, that was just 7 seconds of an air horn. What the hell were you thinking? Maybe I should do it. Put it right now. There it is. All right.
Oh, that was fantastic.
There you go, guys. That's for you. Thank you for getting us
We
to
deserve
10,000
that.
listens.
Yeah.
The second word I want to talk about is partnerships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spent the off season partnering with some great people who want to be part of the Unstable Discourse universe.
Begging and
The
pleading.
UDU, as I like to call it.
Came crawling on all fours.
They did. They did.
Pleading.
So we got some big things on the way. But the first one I want to talk about is at Disc Golf Pins is what they're known as on Instagram. We've partnered with them to do a little fundraising for UD. So on its way soon is a disc golf pin that is the official Unstable Discourse logo that will be available to purchase. Yep. A very limited run will be available to you guys.
Super high quality pins.
Yes.
Delwood Disc Golf has used them before.
Yep.
They're amazing.
Many
They're
times.
going to be here at Delhi for the fans to purchase for $9.99.
What can you put these pins on, just as an example?
You could put them on your disc golf bag. You could put them on your Unstable Discourse shirt that you purchase. You can put it on your Unstable Discourse beanie that you purchase here. There's shoes. It could go
Buy an
literally anywhere.
Unstable disc golf gear hoodie that's here now that
Yeah.
has the awesome new logo on it.
It has an awesome new logo on it. Yes,
You can put it on your bag. You
plenty
can put
of
it
places
whatever
where it
you
can go.
want.
But 100% of that purchase will go to help us do great things with the podcast. So
Yeah, we've already got some really cool ideas for
Yep.
the rest of this season. So
Yep.
let's see
So if you help us grow the podcast. You in turn grow the sport, which is what
As we
we're
like
all
to
about
say. Yes.
here. So
Help us help you.
help us help you.
Yeah.
Please.
Shout out to Jason for making this happen because Jason just
Ran with it.
ran out. Yeah, he just came back to us and he's like, "Hey guys, I did a
I
thing.
did this thing.
I did a thing, guys." we
hope it's okay.
"Hell yeah, dude!"
50 of them. They're going to give us 50. Well, 46 of them will be available for purchase.
We'll see. Yeah.
The first 4, I think, will go to us, and the
Moore.
remaining.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right.
And the remainders
Joe
will be
Moore
available
called dibs
to
on
purchase.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Already. Yeah. Jose Mas.
So that's it. That's what I'm fired up about.
Cool. Ryan Miller, what are you fired up about?
So I'm fired up about a lot of stuff, but for the sake of time, I've been spending a lot of time this off season actually treating it like an off season. You know, I'm by no means professional skill set in disc golf, but you know, there's nothing stopping me from trying to learn and get better. And so this off season, I've just been spending a ton of time in the garage. Got a net that I've been driving into. The amount of analysis I've done on my form has been outrageous. Just trying to make things happen. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that 2 of my closest friends that I disc golf with pretty religiously, they both turned pro this past year.
Whoa.
They're well over 970s now and kind of
They're
left
in
me
high
in the,
school now, and you're in 8th grade, and you're just like, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back, bros.
Not even. They're like in college, and I got held back, I guess. But so it's been really cool. Just
Are
to,
those the guys that went to Ledgestone with you?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Ken and Jarrett didn't coach. My buddy Jarrett and my buddy Ken.
Right on.
Yeah, it's been really cool watching them just leave me in the dust, but it's also wanted me to, get better, and I'm fired up that I'm actually sticking to something, putting, driving, doing all that fun
Dude,
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos and it's inspired me to want to get my own net in the house. Not that I could do anything until my knee is recovered, but we'll get to that. I
Sure.
want to hear about that net specifically.
Sure.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. That takes us to me, I guess.
Mm.
Hey, Alex. What are you fired up about?
Firing up about?
I am fired up about. Well, I'm fired up that the sport has grown so much that I've had 2 different park districts reach out to me just because they search disc golf. They're looking for organizations or people who can help them channel their resources and their energy into something cool. And Disc Golf Chicago as a website just happens to be this great place to attract them. So I've heard from the Berwyn Park District. And just recently, the New Lenox Park District have reached out and been like, "Hey, we saw that we saw disc golf on ABC, or it was ABC, right? Or was it NBC?
CBS.
CBS, whatever."
We'll land on it. It's 3 letters, man. Come on.
Yeah, they saw disc golf on WWF, and they were like, "No." But yeah, they said, "Okay, so we didn't realize how big disc golf was, but we have a course, and we want to do something cool with it." So they reached out to me just to see if I had any advice on putting on a tournament. And I was like, just super excited that the people that for a long time have been sort of a roadblock, like park districts have stood in the way of clubs and people who want to put on events for disc golf because they just don't know what's going on.
Right.
Now, I think we're at a turning point where they are excited to utilize what they have, and they're going to reach out to organizations to help them make the most of it. So I'm like super excited. The New Lenox Park District is about to put on their first tournament this spring, and they've been in contact with me. Just what if we do this? What if we try this? And I mean, I've already said that they should connect with you guys at some point because you're the real event organizers. But just to have those conversations, so I'm fired up about Keith and Tracy at the New Lenox Park District. They have a tournament coming soon. It's going to be the first one that the Park District ever does from the Park District level. I just think it's a sign of the times. I think we're going to start seeing more after-school programs and clubs and things for kids. And like, it's just a very different time than even a couple of years ago where the park districts were telling you, like, they're just standing in the way of you wanting to put on events.
It'll be like the big boom of skate parks after early 2000s.
I hope, I think,
Hopefully.
I believe it could be for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm fired up about. And shout out to Keith and Tracy at New Lenox. Super excited to be working with you guys, and can't wait to see how everything comes together.
Next.
For the record, if I sound weird, which I do, I had surgery yesterday on my knee, and while I was having surgery, they had to put a breathing tube in my throat, which has ruined my throat. I can feel my uvula at all times, and it just feels like there's something like I need to clear my throat constantly. So if you hear me clear my throat or sounding scratchy,
Can you tell
that's what's
how
up.
Let me clear my throat.
Yeah. He's being so careful about what he says so we don't throw a that's what she
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
in there.
Oh yeah.
He's
yeah.
like,
I was like,
oh,
I didn't even think
walking
about
on
that.
eggshells.
specific
Throat?
wording.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so anxious. I was like, come on.
I'm like,
What about your throat?
on the edge of my seat waiting
I'm
for
having an issue with the wet hole in my face.
Now I don't want to say it.
Anyways, that is bonus content, bonus episode content. We are much more PG-13 on these regular episodes, so let's dial it back.
Yeah, whatever.
You know, on that topic, we should discuss how much we've grown as people and matured in the things we're not going to say and do this season.
Oh my God.
That we may have said in the
What are
past.
you doing?
For example, watch this. Amy Laskowski. Nothing.
Good for us.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Good
Wow.
for us.
Growth.
Wow.
Growth.
Yep.
Yep.
We've changed.
There's another word that Sean
No.
says I'm not allowed
No,
to use
don't
this
say it.
season.
Yeah.
That I won't use.
Right.
I won't use. Starts
I
with a
think
P.
everybody knows what it
Yep.
is.
Starts with a P, ends with an M.
Yeah. They
the
probably
middle, there's a
all
rectum.
feel the
There's a-
same way that I did about it.
Yep. They don't want to hear it. That's fine. I won't say it. I won't say it.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's move along. We have not a trivia winner, but we have a contest winner to address.
Yes.
So right before we started recording,
Mm-hmm.
we had actually previously set up a contest on Facebook. We set this up when we hit 10,000 listens or 10,000 downloads.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to celebrate. We had basically put up a post and said, if you comment on the post, you will be entered in this drawing to win one of the limited edition beanies that Ryan made for the show.
That you are
And
wearing right now.
I'm wearing it. Yep. And I think I'm wearing the hell out of it, honestly.
Really?
I mean, you pull it off, dog.
Thank you.
You look great.
I
It's got the kind of slouch and it goes with that jacket. So
like I said,
Which you've
it's
taken
not
off.
an accident. What was that?
You took the jacket off.
I thought I heard something much more inappropriate than
Oh,
that.
no.
I took the jacket off because it got a little hot. But anyways, yeah, we had 28 different people comment on that post, and they were entered into a contest where we put their names in one of the hats. We drew out a winner, and Jason tells me
I am happy to announce that the winner of an Unstable Discourse Beanie is the Side Quest Podcast.
and the funny thing is about that is there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
So
and only
they can,
one hat.
They can figure out what to do with it themselves.
Yep.
If you want to cut it into thirds, totally fine.
I mean, they're like gamer nerds. I'm sure they could come up with some, like, they could play
Mario
some Call
Kart.
of Duty or Mario Kart, and whoever wins, that's who gets, like, I'm sure they can come up with a good
Can
way
we
to figure
make
out who it
them?
is.
Can we choose what they do?
We have all the
We
power
should
currently.
choose what they do.
Yes.
We have
Yeah.
the beanie.
We have the hat.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
There's a lot of
They
options.
are
available.
hardcore gamers, and they're into like every bit of nerdy pop culture there is. But I'm pretty damn close with the sort of main moderator of the show. His name, that's Eric Weichert. I went to college with him, and he is a very intense Mario Kart and Nintendo 64 Super Smash Brothers player. So I'm inclined to say that they should have to play Smash.
Some Smash.
see who
Yeah. Have a
wins
little mini
the
tournament between
hat.
3 of them. Yeah.
But we can leave it up to them.
Yeah,
It's all good.
yeah.
Anyways, their show is pretty cool. You guys should check it out. They cover anything that is nerdy pop culture. They're super funny guys. Yeah, check them out.
Sounds familiar.
Enjoy the hat.
Yeah. Takes game
know funny
recognized, game recognized game. y'all.
Recognized game.
I know funny guys that have a podcast.
So yeah, shout out to those guys. Enjoy your free hat, and we'll get that to you some way, somehow. Next up is the Callahallander Rundown, brought to you by
Still unofficially,
DiscGolfScene.com.
Come
Come
on,
on,
Pete.
Pete.
It doesn't get less
It's funny every time.
Right.
All right, so this time I'm not going to run you guys through a whole year of tournaments,
don't
okay?
do that.
Because I can feel your eyeballs on me when I'm listing and I'm all the way in October, and you're like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Well, you
So
can't
we're
feel
just
my
gonna be
eyeballs 'cause
doing-
mine are closed.
Right.
Because yeah.
Because you're like.
Starting the whole-
So, anyways, Callahallander Rundown Spring Edition. We're just going to be covering the next 3 months. March, April, May. Cool.
Cool. No doubt.
Still a lot.
Still enough to talk about.
Go ahead.
So Dog Bowl, that's happening March 6th. That is sold out all but 3 spots. I believe they are ladies spots. That is going to be a ton of fun.
Ladies spots.
Lady spots. Going to be a ton of fun. We're going to have the Will County Humane Society over there with dogs, as we talked about in one of the and cats. Hopefully some of the snow is gone. Who knows? I mean, the weather that we have between now and then is like bleak, but either way, it's going to be a ton of fun. You're already signed up, and we're going to be making some lives for cats and dogs better. So that's what it's all about. 2 weeks after that is Fraction Run Cup 3 at Delhi.
Already.
The first. Already.
Wow.
The first of the Greater Joliet Tour Series.
It's like a month away.
Did you do 2 in 1 year?
What?
Fraction Run Cups?
No.
God, time. We're just getting old.
The third. I mean, we're at the third one already. Like,
the older you
insane.
get, the faster everything happens.
And I mean, it wasn't always Fraction Run Cup. And it was at one point just the Greater Joliet Tour Series.
So this is like
Delwood.
the fourth one, technically.
Wow.
So that goes live next Friday, the 19th at 7 p.m. on discgolfscene.com. Come on, Pete. That event is on March 20th and 21st, Saturday, Sunday. 1 round per day. Going to be awesome. Can't wait. Clay Track Classic 3 at Trinity. That is going to be going live for signups. March, you're shaking your head, but it's because you're still...
I remember Clay Track Classic 2 like it was yesterday.
Like it was just yesterday. So signups are going live for that on March 19th. That is a Friday at 7 p.m. The event is April 17th and 18th. And last but not least is Workforce Brewing Open 3 at Homer, ? I believe we will be doing it at Homer Glen.
And that, I feel like that was yesterday also because we had to put it off so late in the season.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's why, because we had to push so many of these.
Right.
So that's going live on April 30th. That's a Friday at 7 p.m. And the event is on May 29th and 30th.
Yes, it is.
So that's the next 3 months. There's a couple of other Illinois events going on in that time, but I don't have anything to do with them. So I don't have very many details. So I don't have them in the calendar.
Can I also mention an event that you have going on this weekend? It's
going on.
Are we not doing
officially canceled? Yes.
Okay. Because I was going to say it was a mixed doubles tournament. It was like a Valentine's Day tournament on Sunday, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, I finally have a reason to like get my wife, get my girlfriend, whatever out."
So bummed.
Yeah, and can you imagine like bringing your wife out for her first event
ever,
and it's a high of 3 degrees.
That's great.
With 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
And there's a foot of snow.
So we would have had the opposite result. So we were like, okay.
I'm so glad that you canceled that. Yeah.
A bunch of people were dropping, and I was like, I'll just do this again sometime in the spring and get the ladies back out here. Because, I mean, people were bummed, like, legitimately, and I felt bad because for the dudes who were like, sweet, this is what I'm doing for Valentine's Day. I don't have to plan anything. Yeah. So I'm like, shit. Sorry. Hopefully you have enough time to figure something else out. Go to brunch somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Isn't there a Swedish day?
Swedish.
October. Yeah, but like Swedish day. Just do it then.
Right. October 16th. I believe
is it?
Oh,
I believe so.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Good call, Ryan Miller.
That would be the only reason that I would give Swedish Day any like.
It's just a garbage Hallmark holiday.
It's complete garbage. And the worst thing is when your significant other goes like mentions it, and you're like, "Damn it, please don't," because
you don't feel like going to IKEA and having meatballs.
Correct. Yeah, not Swedish.
Swedish Day.
Brought to you by Latitude 64.
You beat me to it. You got it. You got it first.
Swedish jokes.
Yeah.
You got anything else? You want to get any?
No, that was it. I just got the one.
All right.
Yeah. But it was like joke diarrhea. If I didn't get it out, it was gonna hurt.
Is that it?
That's it. Cool. I mean, we're just gonna keep it to a 3-month maximum here.
Good.
Groovy. That takes us into the freshly updated local route. Mostly it's going to be done the same way we did it last season, but we have one new feature to it. You'll see what it is. Just keep listening.
Upgrades.
Upgrade.
Do you know who you want to shout out, Ryan?
Everyone so far that has signed up for Clash as a volunteer and or spectator is going to be my local route, because it is not even until July that we are having the Silver Series tour event here. But there are already over 100 spectators, and I can't remember how many volunteers, but like 30, something like that.
Really?
People to
volunteers is in the 30s. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Already, and we're in February, so it's gonna be amazing. It can't not be at this point with how many people have already responded to it. So we're gonna have a ton of volunteers. The spectator pass that you are going to purchase is going to get you so much cool stuff. Dare I say there will be? Should I say it?
Yes.
There's going to be a fanny pack.
Wait, don't say it.
And then there's going to be
Did
some
you
other
wait?
cool stuff.
I think I just heard
No,
something amazing.
don't worry about it.
Wait, come on, don't do this.
There's going to be some cool stuff. The pack alone is worth like $100 and some.
Yeah.
Plus
There's
you
been a
get
ton
the
of people
spectate.
hopping on those too.
Yeah, great. They should.
It's
gonna
awesome.
Be
I
amazing.
can't wait to
So,
get them.
Yep.
No, I'm not going to move forward
Extra
until you
cool.
say what.
It's a fanny
I
pack.
it's
It's a fanny pack.
There's a fanny
There
pack.
will be
and
a fanny
spectators
pack.
There will be.
There's a fanny pack.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's like over 100 spectator, like 100. I'll tell you. Exactly the
102
number.
was the last time I saw
102,
it. but it might
it's
be
well
more.
above
Man,
that.
sometimes people don't suck.
Yeah.
30 people have volunteered already.
30 people.
And I'm sure
I'll tell
we'll
you, I'm
see
going to
more.
give you exact
Who's
numbers
gonna be
because
responsible for
time isn't
wrangling
real when
all
you're
those
doing a
volunteers?
podcast.
We will put someone in charge of that. Yeah.
You're gonna. That's a whole
32
job.
volunteers,
Yeah.
and there are 113 spectators already signed up.
That whole weekend is going to be chaos.
Off the chain.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
All right, shout out to those volunteers and the spectators. Sean Callahan, who do you want to shout out for your local route?
Lead me in.
Yeah. Lead them in a little bit better. Yeah, take that
So,
again.
my local route shout out is two people that put on an event: Danielle Brogy and Antonio Diaz de Leon. Did the
names.
Veterans for Vets event in Kirkland that is at Pioneer Park. This is for raising funds for the Veteran Network Committee of Northern Illinois. So they raised $2,500. They had 147 players out there, and 19 of them were veterans. So just shouting them out. They did a really great job on social media. Where's Kirkland, Illinois? Do you know?
No idea.
No
Yeah,
idea.
I know
They had
where it's at.
147 people go out there and play
Kirkland
disc golf.
is really close to DeKalb. I'm pretty sure, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Like, I know that it's out in that region, but
Yeah.
middle of nowhere.
I went to college at Northern Illinois in DeKalb, and Kirkland was the course that, like, when we decided to venture away from our DeKalb course, it was always to Kirkland. So it's like 15, 20 minutes away. And the pond there always smells like dead carp. Don't know why.
Specifically carp.
I don't know. There's just a lot of dead carp on the banks of the pond there every time I go.
Like
Don't know
Asian
why.
carp?
That seems racist, but I don't know what kind they were.
Cool.
Just making sure I'm not detracting from the point you were trying to make at all.
Yeah, so Danielle, Brogy, and Antonio, they killed it. They were all over social media. It was like I couldn't go on Facebook without seeing something that they were doing. And the way that they had done it, they had a bunch of flags out there, and like, kudos. That's awesome
Sick.
to see people who, as far as I understand, this is their first time dipping their toe in that realm, and it seemed very well done. And to get 147 people to go out and play in less than stellar conditions is a W.
Huge.
So that's awesome. Great for them. Danielle's also, little side note, switching her bag over to Discmania. So that's also pretty cool.
Who cares?
Right?
Anyone here like that?
Right?
This cool?
Yeah. So very cool. Stoked for him. Great job.
Awesome. Shout out to Antonio and Danielle.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ryan, you got anybody you want to shout out for local route?
Yeah, so not a lot going on in Wisconsin right now, but there's a guy back home, a good friend of mine. His name is Mike Harrington. He does a lot for the area. I mean, he's running leagues 6 out of 7 days a week. Just, during at least the on season. The guy he's incredible with what he can do, but this winter he's got a couple guys. I mean, there's 3 leagues that we have during the winter on 3 different days at 3 different times. So morning leagues, evening leagues, weekend leagues. And, for those of us brave enough to continue to play during this stuff, it's cool that there are people willing to host it and make it happen. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's my shout out.
What is the snow situation? Same amount by you guys or more? Or is it like...
We got a little bit more. I would say accumulated, we probably have like 1.5 feet, maybe.
Okay.
And then,
more than 6, and it might as well be 6 feet.
Yeah,
That's what she said.
truly. And we're about 5 or 6 degrees colder than you. So when I left it, we were in the negatives. It's a little warmer here.
It's
You wanna
already
fight about it or what?
it's
Is it like you're on vacation or...
Jesus.
it's already a task to be committed to running leagues and like everything that goes into it to stay on top of it. But when the weather sucks and it's like week after week, man, that's just hard work.
Takes it all out of you.
It does.
Yeah.
So every community that has somebody like that is blessed.
Get this too. One of the leagues is a glow league.
Right now.
In the
right
snow?
And there are people going. Yeah.
How?
On Wednesday nights. It's called the abominable. I can't say that word. Abominable.
Yeah,
Snowman.
you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. Abominable Snowman League.
Hey, an abominable snowman.
Cool.
You know
Baller.
what? I would actually think that, I mean,
Snowballer.
apart from the terrible, treacherous weather, you could probably find your discs a little bit better in the dark if they glow.
Right, if they were solid glow discs.
Because in the snow,
Sure.
it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare.
And there's not a lot of discs burying in our snow right now with how cold it's been. You know, it's
how
fortunate.
crispy on top.
Yeah,
Skipping.
exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
You get those 450-foot drives now.
Everything skips like
Yeah.
a PD2.
Yeah, right.
Well, shout out to Mike Harrington then.
DGX, right? Is that his?
Yeah, the disc
Right.
golf experience. And then
And-
he's got a shop called the Disc Barn back up by us.
And that's a brick and mortar.
Yep, brick and mortar. Him and his wife own a landscape company, and so it's inside of their barn, which is
Sick.
kind of
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's super cool.
Kindred spirits. Yeah.
I've always same with you. Like I've always known about all the things that he's doing, but I've never sat down and talked specifically with him. But it's awesome.
Yeah,
He just
great.
did the indoor thing. Like what?
So
2
usually,
weeks?
usually he does the indoor disc golf experience. This year he opted out from who he partners with to do that just because of COVID and whatnot.
Got it.
And I think a lot of that has to do with, you're going to have to help me, but he's on the board of the PDGA. He represents Wisconsin.
So he's the coordinator.
Thank
Sure.
you. So
Yep.
he's Wisconsin's coordinator for the PDGA. And so I think he just, made the decision to sit out this year.
Yeah.
Based on that. But the guy who he partners with did it. And
We had a bunch of guys from down here. I remember taking
Yeah, we
seeing
always-
photos and
yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
From them going up there and doing that.
yeah, and I think this year we had Greg Barsby, world champ.
Yep, I saw
Yep.
the pictures.
Barsby was
of
there.
on up.
Philo was there.
Philo was there
Made
last
that killer
year.
putt with the swinging basket. I saw on somebody's.
Yeah.
Who was it that was out there?
Well, Philo's was
saw it.
in Quad. I think Quad Cities did one too, and Philo was at that one.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
because usually those two. Well, Mike only does the one in Milwaukee. Then there's a
Okay.
guy named Joe who does one in Rockford with the same guy that Mike
But
partners
it's-
with.
okay. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
the same one
Okay.
dude, but
Yep.
then local people partner with him.
Got it.
And I think he was doing one in the Quad Cities, and I think that was the one Philo was at.
Got
But
it.
Philo came up by us last year, which he's a cool dude.
He is cool.
Yeah, it was Nora. Nora.
Belati.
Belati.
I didn't know she went. That's cool.
So wait a minute. There's another Nora?
So now for my local route, this is the part where we have a slight evolution, if you will, if not renovation. I think evolution is probably the right word. I wanted to start, we all wanted to start tying in shout outs to people in other communities, not just here locally, but
We've run through everybody we liked, and if we didn't mention you, then
We ran out of people to
did
talk
bad.
about.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No,
Yeah.
really what it is that I think it's just so cool that there's, our scene is this little microcosm kind of thing, but these exist all around the country, if not all around the world. And it would be cool to start learning what's happening in other scenes. So
Necks of the woods.
exactly. So we started to post in other disc golf groups in various cities around the world. And we're going to be bringing you a local route shout out from random scenes around the country. And this first one comes from Northern Alabama. This the guy that responded to my post, his name is Clint Kimbrell, and Clint said he wanted to shout out a guy from their local scene named Levon Wolf. I got the chance to sit down with Clint and interview him for 15 minutes. Hear a little bit about Levon. And luckily, I mean, just kind of by crazy coincidence, I happen to know Levon a little bit, and I know you do too, Sean.
Yep.
We'll get to that, but first, here is a little excerpt from that interview.
Oh my God. Let me recap so far because there's already been a lot. So he's one of the top players in the history of disc golf over time. He's he was the tournament. He directed one of the world championship tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
He designed Redstone, which is a pretty well-known and beloved course. He's designed multiple other courses in your area.
I think he's designed over 60 courses.
Wow. Good God. Okay.
The other thing about Levon is he's either 66 or 67 now. And when he designs a course, locally at least, he also goes out there and helps install it, even if it's in the middle of a forest. I mean, he'll go out there with a chainsaw and just cut and work. He's a super hard worker. He's super fit for an older guy. I mean, I know he's fitter than I am, and he's 30 years older than me.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a little excerpt from that interview. And if you want to hear the rest of it, we'll have more of that interview available at the very end of this episode.
Yeah, I'll tack it on the end.
We'll tack it on as sort of bonus content, and then I think I'll probably put it out as a YouTube clip as well, so you guys can hear the full thing later. But let's talk a little about it. Levon has some of the most extensive credentials.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, I thought he was just a quick stick guy.
Well, that's kind of what I thought.
Been around.
Yeah.
Been around.
So you know him, Sean, you know him because you sell.
I know him because of Quickstick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had heard his name because of everything that he's been attached to. I knew he was an OG, and it was like probably a mountain of things that I couldn't even wrap my brain around.
Mm-hmm.
But our relationship really started with Quickstick.
Right. So yeah, he invented the Quick Stick, which is a product that is available for sale in the shop here.
I'm looking at 8 of them right now.
I use one. They're sick. They're very popular in this area. And I have to think that some of that comes from when he donated Quick Sticks to, I think, Clash of the Canyons, so that the spotters could help pull discs out of the water.
2 or 3. I can't remember what year, but yeah.
But yeah, he was super easy to talk to about. I reached out and I was like, hey, we're doing this event. Do you want to be a sponsor? And he didn't ask too many questions. He was just like, yep, happy to help.
He is salt of the earth, Southern boy,
Mm-hmm.
give you the shirt off his back, cool cat.
So the credentials, I have to touch on them. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of everything Levon's done. And this is still not like all of it. It's just some highlights. According to UDisc, one of the all-time best players in the 80s, he was like consistently ranked. Like if you took the average of all of his events, he was like ranked number 4 in the world. So he's like a sick player.
Baller.
He has designed over 60 courses, and he has helped install a lot of those courses. He was the tournament director at Worlds when they had it in Huntsville. He is
93, right? Is that what?
Don't remember the year, but I know that Clint mentioned it in the interview.
I think that's what he said, 93.
Levon also helped to co-found Prodigy, and there's some history there.
You may have heard of that.
Yeah, you may be familiar with it. He invented the Quick Stick, which we already said. He is nearly 70 and still playing MPO.
Yeah, Clint said he acts like a 40-year-old, or what did he say? Yeah, it was crazy.
He said that, he's super active. He's still helping to install courses, and he's like in better shape than
we can only
probably
hope
any
to
of us.
achieve that status when we're 70.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at that age, he's still rated 967, installing courses and just like pumping out events and products and just like living the disc golf dream.
Yeah.
And
when did you talk to Clint?
I talked to him actually twice, but my most recent interview was 2 nights ago.
So yesterday was Levon's birthday.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And then I was listening to The Flight Diary, Brian Earhart's, and this part 2 of his Paul Macbeth episode. So definitely go check that out, part 1 and 2. Fantastic. They talk about Paul's relationship with Prodigy, and he brings up Levon. I was listening to that today, which it just came out today, the second part.
Wow.
So it was like
the universe.
We were talking about Levon. I was watching that video. I realized his birthday was yesterday. And then as I'm sitting there doing all of this, he's brought up in the other podcast I was listening to, and I was like...
And then lightning strikes the tree.
I was just going to say that.
It was strange. So
there are a few moments we've had with this podcast where the universe just said, hey, we see you guys.
Yeah.
We're listening. But yeah, dude, shout out to Levon. Not only has he improved the sport in Huntsville and in their region in Northern Alabama, the whole country, the whole world is better in the sense of disc golf because of Levon's work. So shout out to Levon and shout out to Clint for responding to the post and taking time to tell us about him.
Yeah, it was badass.
Paul had actually said in that interview that he doesn't see Levon enough. Paul Macbeth said this, doesn't see Levon enough, wish he saw more of him.
Wow.
So when you got the GOAT,
you
made it, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're okay, Levon.
Yeah, you done good.
You done good, man.
Now, before we get to the heart and soul of this episode,
meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes,
meat and
the heart and jelly of this episode. We want to say a shout out to one of our new sponsors, Andy O'Day, aka AO the Mortgage Pro. Andy is a loan mortgage officer who is, before that, he's like one of my best friends of all time. He's basically a brother to me. He is somebody I would trust with my life, and he wants to extend his services to anybody in the disc golf community. I can speak from personal experience. I actually am in the market to buy my first home right now. We reached out to Andy and we're like, dude, what do we need to know? He got us pre-approved to get our first home in about 15 minutes.
Holy cow.
He answered all of our questions and within 15 minutes had an email to us that said what we could afford and what we were pre-approved to go buy. So now we went from this being a who knows where we start to buy our house. Well, now we know what we can afford, and that's like a big part of the battle.
That's a huge part. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're thinking about buying your first house, you can reach out to Andy. He will take care of it really quickly. He's super down to earth, and he's a disc golfer. So he is willing to meet you on the course. You can have a business meeting on the course. If you're also interested in saving some money, put some extra money in your you can refinance your house, which is something he's kind of a specialty of his. That'll give you some money to
rates are stupid low.
Get into more tournaments, get some new bags, like free up some room in your budget.
Yeah.
You want to buy a house closer to your dream course? Talk to Andy O'Day. Talk to AO, the Mortgage Pro. He is excited to hear from you guys, and he is more than happy to meet you on the course for a round and to help you with your either first purchase or refinancing. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok at AO, the Mortgage Pro. Check him out.
TikTok.
Sweet.
Good, man. Know your audience, man.
It's time for the peanut butter and jelly of this episode.
The Oreos and milk.
Ooh, good one.
The lamb and tuna fish. Who's your caddy? We're here with Ryan Miller, as I said before, of Caddie Disc Golf. Ryan.
Indeed.
Can I do the first question?
I would love that.
Have you ever, in one of your videos, wanted to start out as, "Hi, I'm Ryan Miller, the disc golf guy, and this is my video blog"?
No, but
you should do that.
I should do that.
You should do it.
I'm sure Terry would laugh.
Just to screw with him.
Do you know? I mean, you know Terry, obviously. Are you like close with Terry?
He's my brother.
Yeah. No, we're not related. Am I close with Terry? No, but we definitely get along. In fact, like every winter, he asks me to be his gym buddy, and then he's never in town to actually be his gym buddy. But
is he ever in
is he
town?
from your neck of the, is he
yeah,
from-
he's from a town called Pewaukee, which is like 5 minutes from mine. It's like a neighboring city.
Okay.
Could be
In
related.
fact, when I got into disc golf, he was the one running leagues in the area.
No kidding.
Yeah. So and it's funny that you mentioned that because I see Terry more outside of Wisconsin than I see him in Wisconsin.
Sure.
2 years ago, I saw him at the Glass Blown Open. I saw him at Ledgestone this year. So usually if I'm in Wisconsin, I'm probably not seeing Terry.
So I want to kind of start by talking about what caddy is. And honestly, I just got educated about it from the few episodes of the podcast that you had put out. I loved where you were coming from with like the origins of it. So I'm going to just tell you from my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong. So caddy,
You're wrong.
You son of a-
no, go ahead. I'm
you
sorry.
son of a
It's
bitch.
Caddie, actually.
Caddy. So you started Caddy as it's a platform to help assist players play to their best strengths and like be able to play at the highest level. So you wanted a brand and a platform to share advice, knowledge, and basically help players, the best they could, like a caddy would. Is that kind of how you see it?
Yeah, that's close. There's a couple things I'd add to that. But before I do, so Caddy first started, I actually was getting into like disc golf photography. I had taken a lot of photographs of skateboarding, which is what, my origin is from. And, Milwaukee didn't really have a photographer. I mean, Alyssa Van Lanen's an hour and a half north. So she's close, but she wasn't really photographing. Actually, nobody was photographing events in our area. And it was something I wanted to add. So Caddy was originally like, that's what that was. But I realized soon that I would rather be playing events than photographing them. And so that's when I kind of altered everything. And where I got the name Caddy from is like, if you look at the definition of a caddy or what a caddy does, literally their entire role is to assist the player in ball golf.
Yeah, golf.
Half the time, if not more, golf. I like that. The player is listening to their caddy on what shot they do. They just execute it, right? So they were just assisting. And so like I wanted to assist the southeastern Wisconsin disc golf scene in any sort of way. Now, as far as like helping people reach their potential, yes, I wanted to do that. But I wanted to do so by showing them my own personal journey, me getting better, me learning things.
Gotcha.
And then from that, sharing kind of that wisdom of like what I learned throughout this whole thing. But the heart and soul of Caddy was always to just like serve the scene around me, whatever that looked like. And actually the direction of Caddy has changed so many times, which we'll get into.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to.
Things go.
No, that was going to be my question because I've watched several over the last week or so, and it went from actually the first video was here
That's correct.
You driving the wrong way and getting lost and then coming to Delwood.
That is correct.
I didn't miss that. Then, evolving into your playing and giving your feedback on your play. And then you were doing some commentating for courses and for tournaments and even things like going to Ledgestone and watching and things like that. I just wanted to know, not quite like what direction do you want to go into, but what do you want to see Caddie Disc Golf evolve into eventually? What is your goal for that?
So I'll be completely honest with you. I don't really have a vision. I never really have. I just wanted to use my platform to try to leave the scene better than, what it was when I got into it. And it's evolved into something insane. Like I never would have thought I'd have over 1,000 YouTube subscribers or anything because quite frankly, and Sean, you could probably relate to this, being a skateboarder, like filming skateboard edits with our friends was just, we did it for fun. We didn't care who saw it. We just did it because it was fun.
Yeah.
And so like that first episode here at Delwood, me and some friends came down here and I just filmed it for fun. I love video editing and I just wanted to do it. And then it turned into this thing. So, as far as what I would love Caddie to turn into, we'll get into this a little bit more, but obviously I do a lot of content for Discmania. So I'd love for that to kind of continue to be the thing. Cool. The only thing that I wish I did a little bit more of was kind of that vlog style, like Ledgestone, like actually like documenting something that I'm a part of instead of like creating something that's a little bit more scripted or a little bit more intended. But yeah, we'll see. I honestly have no 5-year plan, 1-year plan for it because in just a matter of a few short months, like everything changed for the better. So
it's cool because you're just like open to wherever the road takes you, and people are along with you for this journey. Like, if this seems cool, we'll do this. You know what? I'm having fun with that. Was cool. Like, I'll do some more of that. Yeah. And you're just like letting it unfold as you go, and that's totally cool.
There's a very cliche but very accurate phrase in the disc golf realm, and that's trust the process. And that's kind of how it's been with Caddie. Like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where it's going. I don't know.
Just start
what
doing
I'm gonna do.
whatever was fun.
Just start doing whatever's fun and see where it leads.
It kind of sounds like a podcast that I know.
Yeah.
Go
down this road and see where it takes you.
You're talking
that's
language
awesome,
here.
man. Yeah. That's really, I mean, if you are attempting to do very like one thing specifically, I think you just get pigeonholed and then you're like frustrated because it's harder to come up with that content. So the fact that you're just kind of open to wherever it takes you is, I mean, I can relate with everything Delwood Disc Golf. Maybe somebody from the outside looking in is like, oh, that guy's got it all figured out. And I'm like,
no, he doesn't.
I'm kind of just going where the light takes me, like wherever it goes. So that's awesome, man.
I can tell you that what I want to do more of in the future, which this kind of goes back to that foundation of Caddie being for the scene and not for like myself, is I want to showcase more people and more things. Like my most recent video was a local disc dyer who we did a little bit of a tour of his little setup, and he taught me how to do a spin die, which I had never done. But I'd rather use the platform.
So well.
Thank you. I can't believe how well it turned out. Yeah. So, and shout out to I forget his name, but he's in. We actually gave those discs away, and some guy in Indiana won them. So pretty cool. But yeah, no, it comes down to just like, I want it to be about everybody else, not so much about me. So,
well, one thing I do really enjoy about you filming yourself is like, I can't do that. Like, I can't watch myself. I can't do it. And your style of play and the way that you critique yourself is so relatable, because I will go out and play, and by the end of the round, not knowing my score, I will like, oh man, that was harsh. And then I'll look at the score and say, oh, I didn't actually do so bad, and here's why. And you do that all the time, and it's great because I feel like I'm watching myself evolve and play, but everyone knows that I don't practice and I don't actually get better. Hopefully you are doing, better as you and evolving, but it is incredibly relatable as a disc golfer.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned it being relatable, because something that I didn't even realize when I started making some of my videos, like for example, like the disc reviews that I have made in the past, something like a reoccurring theme that I hear all the time is, seeing Simon's reviews on this disc is really cool, but nobody can throw like Simon. Yeah. So it's really cool to see somebody who will admit they have a medium arm speed and be able to see what that disc does. It makes it easier for them to decide if they want to go buy a disc or not.
We've talked about that several times. Yep, absolutely.
Sorry, that's not me interjecting. That's just me having throat issues.
I'm going home.
Clear my throat.
I'm glad you were getting into the reviews because that seems like that's been a pretty big focus as of lately. Are you primarily reviewing Discmania or is it only Discmania?
100% Discmania.
So let's talk about your Discmania relationship. Like, where did that come from? I heard you say on the show that you have like that's been like your favorite manufacturer since like 2012. How did you end up actually connecting with them and sort of like where did that relationship start?
Sure. So yeah, back in 2012, I bought the Psycho back when it was the Psycho, not a P1, it was the Psycho. And it was their old soft P-line plastic that is really hard to get now unless you buy an original Psycho. And, you know, the reason why I started buying Discmania was because my favorite pro was Simon. Being in skateboarding, whoever your favorite pro was, that was the board that you bought. That was the wheel company that you bought, whatever they were sponsored by.
Sean, can you confirm?
100% accurate.
Okay.
So because of even the shoes, you know, Andrew Reynolds,
Very
I bought
clicky,
Americas
very
all the time.
Clicky, yes, everything.
And if your favorite pro changed, DCs. If your favorite pro changed, so did the stuff you were skating. Well, for disc golf, Simon, he has always been about the fun. So he was always my favorite. So that's why I started throwing Discmania. It wasn't that I thought the plastic was better, especially because at the end of the day, it's manufactured by Innova. So like I could go throw Innova, right? But I loved Discmania. So that's all I pretty much threw. And Discmania was not really big, at least in Milwaukee at that point. That was, and maybe here, but that's when like Trilogy was really big, you know? And that's
they had a hold of the market for a while.
Yeah.
Trilogy had like every rec disc golfer there for a minute.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Right. And so, I had thrown a lot of Discmania and, you know, I had posted a lot of stuff on Instagram of me throwing Discmania and started doing some reviews. And actually I did reviews even before the relationship with Discmania started. So fast forward from 2012 when I first started throwing Discmania to 2018 when I first heard about the Discmania Media Partnership, which was a program that they had that they really didn't advertise. It was very hushed. They had a page on the website, but they didn't advertise it at all. There's a guy, he's actually from this area. You may know him. His name is Dana.
Dana Avicii?
I don't.
Have you ever heard of that guy?
His name is actually Dane Avicii.
Yes. Most people don't know that.
He travels with the circus, as I recall.
Yeah. He's got
circus crowd.
Best beard in Illinois. Anyhow.
Yes, he does.
So I had connected with him on Instagram and we had followed each other. And
Never not funny.
I had asked him, questions about Discmania discs, you know, like, hey, how does this fly? And Dana, being the guy he was, answered every question I had.
Sure.
So we started following each other and I started posting a lot about Discmania and he reached out to me and he was like, dude, you should consider applying for the Discmania Media Partnership. And at the time, Discmania was a sponsored athlete by Discmania. And so I was like, wow, someone on Discmania is telling me to apply for Discmania. What? I'm like 700 rated. Okay. And so I did. I filled out a form and Dana's like, hey, I'll put in a good word for you. And like 2 months later, they were like, hey, let's do this.
Wow.
So in 2018, it was the media partnership. And pretty much what that was is whenever they had a disc release, they would send it to me and I would do something with it. It was very loose. It wasn't even like, hey, go do YouTube. It was just advertise it a little bit, make a post on Instagram, maybe film yourself throwing it. It was very relaxed. However, because I had a YouTube channel already established, I just decided to go towards reviews.
Right.
So that's how that started. And then at the end of 2018, the person who was kind of in charge of the media team, and keep in mind, the media team isn't just in the United States, it's in Europe as well. The person who was running it at the time, he had said, you know what? Like, we're actually going to be getting rid of the media team. We're going to be introducing an ambassador program. And this was towards the end of 2000.
How long did the media team thing last? Because there was somebody else around this area that was part of that.
So I was a part of the media team for its final year. So that would have been 2019 officially.
Okay.
Because I applied at the end of 2018 and started that next year.
Got it.
So it ended in 2019. And they were like, you don't have to apply for the ambassador team. We're going to take your portfolio for the last year and that's your application.
Sweet.
And so I'm like, well, rad. I felt like I put out a lot of content. Like, was it good? I don't know. But I put out a lot of stuff. So they have a lot of really cool things to look at. And sure enough, you know, it ended up working out. Now, a lot of people decided, hey, it wasn't for me. You know, I don't know what they expected. Maybe they expected more from it. I don't know, but
do you happen to know roughly how many ambassadors there are right now?
There are a lot. Sean, recently
Yes,
added.
I am one now.
Yeah, Sean's
But I don't know how
ambassador.
many there are.
So
Gotcha.
we have a spot on the team page of the website,
do.
which is crazy.
Yes.
But
It
you
was
both
weird.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, we have little profiles.
Profiles. I would say there's probably there's well over a dozen, maybe even 24 of us here in the US alone.
Oh,
and then
wow.
Europe probably has over a dozen as well.
Okay, well
So-
that's good for some frame of reference because when you said a lot, I was like 100, 200.
Oh, yeah,
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's still pretty elite.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
definitely.
That's far less than I was thinking. That's cool.
And when it
better
was
be.
just
God.
when it was just the media team, there was maybe a
Don't
dozen.
read too much into that, Sean. Get over it. Anyway,
Yeah, the media team itself was definitely smaller. But when they decided to go ahead and move forward with the ambassador program, I think they knew they were going to start signing some people.
Does anybody else have more questions about Discmania?
Ambassador to ambassador?
Go ass to ass.
Ass,
Yeah.
ass. No, not really. I mean, we
Ambass
kind of
to
covered everything. We
ambass.
just
To embed.
You know, I did have a question that it's more about Caddie than it is about Discmania. Since you've done a handful of different things now with Caddie over the years, first off, when did it start?
Well, funny enough, I made the video here at Delwood before Caddie was even a thing. Like I just turned that into Caddie. So I would say
So that's how it goes so often.
that was like
yeah.
Christmas time 2018.
yeah, that
You
was
just start doing
December
a
of
thing.
2018. Yeah.
Just start doing a
I
thing
think I think Caddie came into fruitation like that spring. So 2019. What did I say? Fruitation.
Fruitation.
Swedish fruitation. All right, that's what this title of podcast is called.
Yes.
There we
Who's
go.
your caddy?
There's the intro.
Swedish fruitation.
Swedish fruitation.
There it is.
So
I
my
can't talk.
question is, what
so good.
of all the things you've done with it so far, what do you feel most proud of?
The community, straight up online community. It has been so cool connecting with people. Like my DMs get blown up all the time of just like questions about Discmania. Like I love that I can answer that. Crazy enough, people asking me for advice on form. Like I'm learning too, but still really cool that we can kind of share that experience with. But yeah, the community is crazy. I remember at Pro Worlds at Ledgestone, what was that, 2019? I had people come up to me, hey, you caddy? And even at
Dude.
Ledgestone this past year,
That's
like
awesome.
I'm waiting for my buddy to tee off and somebody walks past me and he goes, hey caddy, keep up the good work. And it's like, what the heck? Like this is insane.
That's
So,
awesome.
Just the community. Like
Yeah.
it's been really cool. And that's what it's all about. Like as soon as that community is soured, that's when caddy is no more. So
That is a perfect segue to another thing I think we were all interested in talking about, which is we almost named the episode Under the Influence because realistically you're an influencer. Disc golf is so niche that to be an influencer in this community is probably a little bit different than it is to be in any other community. Have you ever had kids or anything, people who look up to you as a celebrity, or have you had moments like that?
So there's a guy, I run a league back home during the summer, and there's a guy who brings his 7-year-old son. His name is Liam. Shout out Liam. And before the league is on Wednesdays, and for a while, Mondays was the day I'd post. He would show up and he would pay and he would just say I watched your new video. And he would make fun of me sometimes too, which was really
little
funny.
kid?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So
Shout
I
out
played,
Liam. All
I
right.
played on a card with
My
him
guy.
one time and I putted and it came out of my hands and my putts kind of wobble. And he literally goes, your putt wobbles. And I was just
Liam.
dude, this guy. But anyhow,
Ease up,
it's,
dog.
Kids are so on it.
yeah, I truly I appreciate it because they do wobble. I'm trying to figure it out. I got small hands though. No, his excitement has been really, really cool. I haven't really engaged with other kids across the world. I have a coworker who will watch it and he's got 2-year-old twin boys and he has sent me videos of them laughing at me and stuff on the screen. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
There's a little bit of pressure that comes with being, whether you want to use the term influencer or not, there's a little pressure with having a following. If any, what kind of pressure do you feel? Do you ever feel like you have to put out content up to a certain level, or you have to put it out so often? Is there anything that kind of drives you to, keep delivering at a certain standard?
Yeah, good question. Believe it or not, there's a lot of us YouTubers out there. We don't have the platforms that Simon and some of those people have where, they say they have a YouTube channel and it's bam. But there's a lot of us out there, and there's a guy in Wisconsin who posts 4 videos a week between work and being a husband. And I just can't do that.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, I thought maybe, my channel was going to suffer because of that. But throughout the last year of just making videos, I've realized that quantity might be important if you're trying to like increase your numbers fast or whatever. And I've said it before, being a photographer, and actually I work in digital marketing for a living. So like when I've had conversations with people
We gotta
about
talk about that.
yeah. When I've had conversations with people about even growing like a presence on Instagram, 9 out of 10 times my answer is you would rather have 100 followers
Who cares?
and 90 of those people are engaging with you
Yeah.
than 100,000 followers where 10 of them are engaging with you.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter at that point. And if you are after the recognition, then that number means something. But so I told myself that pretty early on when I decided that YouTube was going to be what I focused on, that I wasn't going to care so much about the quantity so long as the quality of the community that I had mattered.
Yeah. So I think we are similar. We're not like
Yeah, so one episode every 2 weeks. Deal with it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that's all we can do.
That's all we can
And
manage.
that's all you can
And
do.
that's a lot for a podcast. I tried to do a podcast once a month.
Yeah.
And that's a lot
And
of
it
work.
lasted 3 episodes.
3 episodes.
But you're right though. Like you can easily churn out a bunch of garb, like
We all have
garbage. But
cameras on us 24/7.
yeah.
Everybody's walking out with a smartphone. Anybody can be a YouTuber. So I'm not trying to downplay the situation, but it's the truth of the matter.
You're
Anybody
100%
can.
right.
It's about having content that then gets those clicks and builds that community. That's
It's just
what's
like,
way
it's just
more
like
important.
Jason's OnlyFans. Like,
Right.
mean,
It's
Right.
it's not about the money,
Right.
which
Is
is
it free to
nice.
subscribe?
No.
definitely not.
Not to stare at well, I won't go there. Sean doesn't want me to talk about it.
We're not going away from the subject, and I want to talk more about your OnlyFans, which is 100% real, and everybody should look for this and subscribe to it.
Definitely.
You know, I wonder if there's disc golfers with OnlyFans. That's an opportunity, if not.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is the next step for Caddie.
Caddie
Right.
Disc Golf. There it is.
Sure there is.
Screw Patreon.
Yeah.
Go to OnlyFans.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
You can just play with no shoes and then just get real close up on your feet. Sell disc golf feet pics, like dirty toes.
There's got to be something
On the
that's
tee
into
box.
Is this getting too real?
I'm going to double back to the relatable thing. I think that's what's always kind of continued to captivate me and continue. Like, I will be honest. I am a boomer, self-admittedly. YouTube to me is still like clicks away in my life. Like, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. That's where I live. I'm on YouTube, don't get me wrong. But as far as like my daily content intake, that is happening on Facebook primarily, on Instagram secondary, and I love the story. And I think that you also kill it with that stuff because I love to follow you, like the human, the Ryan Miller side of what you're doing. That's why people come up to you at Worlds or Ledgestone or whatever it is, because you never make me feel like you're selling me something. I feel like I'm just getting a glimpse into what it is like to be you, and I think that that is awesome. That is what I think people are looking for at all in life, is like genuine interactions. And that is truly what I get when I'm looking at any of your content. It's awesome.
Making me blush.
I really mean it though. It's inspiring. It makes me want to do things more like how I see them done by you.
Well, thank you. You know, honestly, especially in today's day and age, like being transparent and being vulnerable, especially on the internet, it's hard to do. Not a lot of people do it. I mean, a lot of people say on Instagram, you know, it's all facade. Like we only post highlights. Believe it or not, it's been hard, and it takes a lot of work to like be genuine or try to be genuine. And I feel weird saying that just because like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm boasting or anything, but I knew when I had the channel that I wanted it to be authentic. And I've noticed that some of that stuff, and I didn't notice that until people would leave comments, but I noticed that some of that transparency and vulnerability goes into like everything I make, even disc reviews. If there's a disc that Discmania like releases and I can't throw it, I'm not buying it and I'm not bagging it. And so like I'll say that in my reviews, you know, like if you're a slow arm speed player, this disc is going to hyzer. It might not be worth it for you to buy it, you know? So like I try to keep that, I guess, that transparency and vulnerability kind of in everything I do. And it's really cool to hear that people appreciate it.
If people think everything you say is to sell them something, that's it.
Have you ever uttered the words "smash that subscribe button"?
Only as a joke.
Okay, I got
Never. In fact, it's really awkward to be like, if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Like, I'm still not used to saying that, but you have to.
While we're on this subject, if you guys are enjoying the podcast, make sure you leave us a review.
Smash that subscribe button.
I hate it, but there's such a science to that, to be honest. Like, there are so many pieces of analytical data out there that show there's the right time, there's the right way to maximize the kind of engagement you get from people by doing that stuff the right way. I hate it, but it's real. It's a thing.
I love the fact that there are those analytics. I nerd out about that. Like watching baseball, like it's all about the numbers. It's not about the specific game that's going on. It's about analyzing the numbers and what could happen and what is going to, that kind of thing really resonates with me. But then when you actually get down to doing it, it sucks, man. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to concentrate on when to post. That drives me crazy.
It drives me crazy, especially because I feel like the time that I finally have at the end of a day where you've been working all day, you have your relationship, you have all your responsibilities. A lot of the time that I have to like start to be engaged on like social media is like 10, 11 p.m. at night. And that's when I come up with these things that I'm like, I want to just drop this right now, but I know I have to wait till tomorrow at like 9 or between 8 and 10 if I really want people to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
And then half the time I just go, screw it. I'm posting it now. No one's going to see it, but whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Screw it.
I hate that. Like, but it's a thing. It's,
It goes back to authentic community though. And if the stuff you're posting creates engagement, it doesn't matter if you post it at 1 p.m. or 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. It's just
true.
They're going to see that notification because they smashed that subscribe button.
That's right.
But not even that. Like if you get people that are interacting with your posts, and I don't just mean like hitting like a like button, but like commenting and engaging.
Yeah.
Naturally, most social media algorithms are going to then throw that in other areas because the whole purpose of social media
to keep you honest.
is to connect.
Yeah, exactly.
And to keep you
have
on
it be media that's social. Yeah.
Exactly. It's crazy science.
It's not just.
Wait a second.
Wasn't just
That's where that name comes from?
Yeah.
I think also recently I've noticed, I feel like I've seen it maybe in your story. It was maybe on Instagram a couple of times. You've been very, and it's made me think how much you put yourself out there. People are definitely messaging you and critiquing you and trying to move you along as if you're asking for it, and you never are. So what has that been like? I see that you're smiling. Like, is that I love that you say it too, because that's, to me, just really goes to show, like, again, how genuine you are, because you're just being upfront about it. Like, guys, I'm not looking for that critique. So what has that been like?
Yeah. So for a little context, I've been posting a lot of like my form progress over the off season. And I've also been talking a lot about like unsolicited advice. And it's funny that you brought that up, because was that yesterday or 2 days ago, I posted a form update and I turned the comments off so that people couldn't comment. Yeah. And my DM still blew up. Like, it's like no one's reading the description when I say, hey guys, I don't need your advice. The biggest thing with that is there are a million ways to throw the backhand. If you look at how Garrett Gerthy throws it, and then you look at how Matt Oram throws it, and then you look at how Eagle throws it, they're all different, right? And they all do things that some people would say is wrong and most people would say is right. And I do have a few people that are far more skilled than I am that are working with me. The reason why I post stuff like that, though, is because I do want to show that progress and like where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I also, and it's been tough to try to say it nicely, but sternly, that I'm not looking for advice when I post it. I'm just trying to show you guys, hey, this is where I'm at. And I also want to see where you guys are at too. We're all like practicing right now. Like, let's connect by sharing each other's, But yeah, I've had to deal with a lot of people. And I'll say this too. Their intentions are good. It's not like they're saying, dude, your hips are terrible. You're never going to be good.
No, you got some beautiful hips.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's always,
everybody know that.
These hips don't lie.
We notice.
But, everyone has good intentions. They're trying to help me. But I just, maybe, hopefully. I like to believe there's good, but
it's closer to the darker side of social media than it's not.
Yeah, and there are a handful of people that are working with me intentionally that I'm asking for advice. And if I listened to every single person that told me to tuck my arm in instead of leave it out when I'm pulling through certain degrees of where to leave it, I wouldn't know what is right. So I'm only intentionally listening to a few people so that I can hone in on that. So.
Well, in the age of Facebook with all of the disc golf pages where somebody just posts a picture and says, rate my form, and gets 100 comments, and it's exactly what it is. Everybody says something different, and then it turns into a shouting match about who thinks they know more about what's wrong with the dude. Like, everybody's just used to saying, oh, I've got the fix for you because I read it on something that somebody was doing this and it helped them. So here.
It's funny that you mentioned that too, because there are times where like someone will message me and say, this is what you got to do. And I'll search their name on Google with PDGA after it to see what they're rated. And I see what they're rated and it's like, dude, you're rated the same as me. Like, we got to go to people that are better than us. You know,
like no business telling anybody how to play disc golf.
Ooh, that leads me to: have you ever had to block somebody? / have you ever dealt with trolls?
Once, one person. I've only dealt with a troll once. It was on a YouTube video, and I did a review of the Razor Claw on a Packers hoodie. Packers fans. Sorry if you're Bears fans.
I almost brought that up.
I'll leave if you guys want.
No, I don't care. I can't stand it how much people care about that.
Oh, yeah. I had someone destroy my review, like in the comments, because I did it in a Packers jersey.
Rightfully so, but yeah.
And I
what else are you going to wear?
Right.
That's your team.
Right.
Like,
come on. And so what's funny, though, is I responded to the guy in like just compassion, like, hey, man. Sorry that you didn't like the review. Let me know if you have any questions about the disc.
Killed him with kindness.
And he literally, they responded and they were like,
fuck you, hey, Packers fan.
I removed my thumbs down. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just a Bears fan and like blah, blah, blah. And it's all good.
You touched his heart, bro.
And the world is a better place for it, man. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Literally it. And maybe there are people that blocked me. Actually, there's one girl that has blocked me. There is one girl that has blocked me.
What did you say?
Send her.
Yeah. Unsolicited disc pics?
No disc pics. That's what OnlyFans is for.
That's what Jason's for, yeah.
So I'm not going to say names, but I was representing a chalk bag company for the longest time.
Uh-huh.
And there was a girl who started her own chalk bag company by getting really close to this chalk bag company, learning how they do it, and then stealing it.
Shady.
And there was a...
Did she call her company Fun Bags by any chance?
No.
Great name.
Missed opportunity.
Great name.
Yeah. No. But I remember seeing them post something just completely bashing this company. And I reached out and I was just like, hey... Like, I kind of get it, but also, like, you're not even saying the right... It's not even factual what you're saying, and that's not fair.
It's shady, yeah.
And she, like, blew up on me and blocked me, and that's been the only negative... That's been the only negative I've really had, which has been...
Not your
really
fault.
Fortunate.
That's somebody else being just shitty.
I haven't had to block PDJ Rodman yet, so we're all good. In fact, he doesn't even know who I am, so...
That's probably for the best.
For the best,
yeah. As soon as he finds out who I am, though... I mean, I might be able to say I made it at that point.
Yeah, if you control
maybe.
back,
I mean,
maybe.
Be like 2,000 subscribers.
Maybe.
It'd be like, who is this?
Yeah, I just gotta stay true.
What the
and not
fuck are
block
you
him.
guys talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not on Instagram?
Go back to sleep, Jason.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Go back in the closet.
I have a question for you. I see your wife in a few of your videos occasionally. What is her take on what you do? And is obviously she's got to be supportive in some way. Otherwise, it would be tough for you to do.
You wouldn't have driven 2 hours away to go be on a podcast about disc golf.
But is she way into it, or is like my wife in disc golf is like, oh, he's gonna go do his thing. That's awesome for him. I don't get it, but I will support him.
He's happy, so let him do his thing.
Yeah. What is your wife's relationship with Caddie Disc Golf?
My wife would be perfectly fine if disc golf was never a thing. She did come and support the league that I run like 2 years ago. One of her friends just recreationally through Frolft, whatever. And my wife came to hang out with her and they played the league. So she supports me in that way. Mm-hmm. But she really doesn't care. My wife and I are very different. I'm very extroverted. Like I love people, and she's very introverted. She likes people, but would rather stay home more.
Yeah.
And so she's happy that I have like a passion so significant as disc golf that I can like invest and have all these relationships in. Not only does it get me out of the house where then she can be by herself, but it just kind of works. Yeah. So she loves this. I mean, she's supportive of like so many things. Going back to that episode on the flight diary where Paul Macbeth on episode 1, he mentions that the Disc Golf Pro Tour media headquarters is moving to Milwaukee. I don't know if you caught that, but the headquarters for just the media is going to be out of Milwaukee. He talked about Hannah potentially having to fly there for every event.
I remember that part. Yep.
And like the first thing my wife said to me was, could you quit your job and somehow work for the Disc Golf Pro Tour? So she's supportive in like that way. Like she knows that disc golf is where I want to be, but she's not like as invested as I am or
we have the same wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Well, my wife works.
Did you meet yours on OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Wow. You talked earlier about vulnerability and just kind of like putting the reality out there and just like let people choose to come to it or whatnot. Like the best thing you can be, I think, is authentic. So my wife was pretty much always the same in that she was like, do your thing. She's not interested. She doesn't want me to keep trying to get her to play. I've tried a bunch of times. There was a little bit of her that would mock it. Like, oh, that's cute. Like you have your thing. Go ahead and do your thing. But recently it reached this new level where since I had my knee injury and I haven't been able to play in like, I don't know, we're coming up on 4, 5, 6 months now.
You haven't missed much.
Well, right. Yeah. Thank God it's at this time of year, because if it was in the summer, it would have been devastating.
Yes.
But I still haven't played, and like I always would play a little bit through the winter and through the fall. But I had a moment, I don't know, a month ago where I was just like, I was super depressed, which happens to me every winter. But also when I haven't been able to like get out and do anything active, especially not disc golf, it was like I was just sitting around eating a bunch of crap and feeling terrible. And I just had like a day where I was super down, and she pointed out, she's like, you haven't been able to disc golf in a long time. I think that might be part of why you feel this way. And I was like, yeah, I think you're right. Like that is so much more important to me than I think I realized. It's like, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And then when she saw how hard it was kind of hitting me, she was like, listen, we need to get your knee surgery taken care of. That is why I had this surgery done, because I was going to ignore it forever. And she was like, no, go get it taken care of. You need this. This is a part of like what makes you happy. So you need to get it fixed. And here I am now. So I am only here because my wife saw how much it affected me to not be able to play disc golf, where she would love if I wasn't going out of town to play disc golf every weekend. But seeing, what it was like for me to not be able to play for a long time, she was like, okay, this is super important. Like, I got to support you on this. You should go get the surgery. That's where, she really showed her support.
Interestingly enough, my wife, I think she is glad that disc golf is as big as it is, because when I first met her, skateboarding was. And the first year that I met her, I actually ended up shattering my humerus, which is not humorous, but I shattered, got him. So I broke my humerus in half and dislocated some fingers. And so like within our first year, like I had to get surgery. And at the time I actually didn't have insurance. So it was like really bad.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. I was three weeks out from having work insurance.
Hey, you're bankrupt now.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out.
I'm a good pick, right?
Yeah. It's funny. It worked out though, because I broke my arm like
his OnlyFans is still paying that off. That's what it's for. Okay. Yeah.
No, my insurance kicked in 3 weeks later, so they were able to just like hold off on the surgery, and I just had to hang out with a broken arm for a few weeks, and then they had to re-break it to do surgery, which was
no big deal.
Super gnarly, but it ended up working out. But so for her, she's like, hey man, you're 20. Well, at the time I would have been 24. She's like, you're 24 years old. I think I can see myself marrying you. Like, you can't be skateboarding, like hurting yourself like this all the time. And so I think for her that now that, and I still skateboard, I'll be 30 in like a week and I still do it.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much, but I think she would rather me be as invested in disc golf as I am, because it's safer.
Imagine my wife's surprise when I picked the safest sport ever and I still tore my meniscus playing it.
I thought you were going to say the fact that you broke all those bones and were like such a man about it, and that's what attracted her to you. And then she was like, oh, now you're going to play disc golf? Even better.
Ooh.
That's our dream. That's how it works.
That's not what I said. Can you edit that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Fix that.
Rewind.
Okay, I think that's a good spot for us to move along, right?
Yeah, I've had about enough of them. Yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about
my OnlyFans.
The OnlyFans, obviously. Smash that. Skateboarding.
Oh, here we go.
I don't want to talk a bunch about it. I was into skateboarding from 98 until like 2007.
One of the best eras.
And it consumed my life. And I was a young person, so obviously that's easy to happen to a teenager. But it consumed my life in a way that, like, when I switched gears from skateboarding to disc golf, I was looking around and that wasn't a thing with disc golf. People did it and they wanted to be good at it. But there was, like, where I came from with skateboarding, there was a culture. Even if you couldn't kickflip, like, you still hung out at the skate parks and you still had all the new swag and you had the new shoes and you knew what video parts were coming out and, like, you had all the stuff. It's not until, like, now that is finally happening with disc golf. Having a very deep background in skateboarding, like, where are your thoughts on that, and why do you think it is? Why do you think it took disc golf so much longer, even though they very
started around
similar.
the same time frame?
They're very similar, but, like, what is taking disc golf so long? Because you can't really go with the negative connotation, hippie, smoking weed in the woods thing, because that was very much skateboarding's.
And they started around the same era in the same part of the country.
Exactly. Yeah. So they have skeletal structure that's very similar, but for some reason there's always been something holding disc golf back. I want to know how you feel about that.
So when I think of skateboarding, the average person seeing a skateboarder, especially in the 80s and in the 90s, you look down on them. Like, they weren't, it was a child's toy. You know, I just think it comes down to, and it's the same with disc golf, not that it's a child's toy, but I just don't think the general public could look at skateboarders back then and take them seriously. And I think it's similar for disc golf, at least it was. You're throwing frisbees at baskets. Like, I can't take that seriously.
Right.
Ball golf's been around how long? It's been on ESPN. Golf. Thank you. Golf. Yep. You can win millions from one tournament. Country clubs, that's the American dream, right? That you can take seriously, but, like, frisbees, throwing frisbees, like, it's hard for the average public, I guess, to take that seriously.
Yeah. If you think of the core concepts of hitting that tiny ball, like, from hundreds of yards away, the concepts are equally ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know, why is one more sought after than the other? I don't know.
So the thing about skateboarding is, like there's a certain percentage of the country that wouldn't have, or the world that wouldn't have taken you seriously as a skateboarder. There was another percentage of the country that looked at you like you were badass.
Like you were the shit.
You were like, you could break a,
so, like, you're absolutely right. In the 80s
time.
and 90s, like, 100%. But, like, let's call it the 900 effect. Like, as soon as Tony did the 900 on ESPN, that was what tipped the scales.
Mm-hmm.
Have we had our 900 yet?
I think it happened this past year.
Think so?
I think with this pandemic, the sport blowing up, you just mentioned earlier on the episode that you got a lead to run events at a course all because it was aired on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do I think we're going to see as big as a jump right now that we saw when Tony Hawk did the 900? Probably not. I mean, if you look at where skateboarding is today, people are making millions of dollars on contracts. It's going to be in the Olympics next year.
Yeah,
right.
There was already the X Games and so forth. So I think skateboarding is quite a few, maybe 2-3 decades ahead of where disc golf is now. But they both come from the same origin of being this indie sport that isn't taken seriously.
Yeah,
and I think that over time, like, that is going to change.
The similarities are pretty interesting. I'm really glad you brought this up because the other thing that really stands out to me, and it's sort of critical to the growth, is they're both, like, public park type things. Like,
totally.
Like, the more skate parks there were, the more skateboarding could grow.
Right.
Same thing with disc golf. And they both only happen when somebody goes to a park or park district and says, we want to build this.
Right.
And probably similarly challenging to get a skate park and a disc golf park put in the ground.
So much cheaper for disc golf.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But also takes up a lot more space.
Those skate parks are hundreds of
thousands.
thousands.
Yeah,
but also to put a disc golf course takes up so much land and compromises all the people who love to come to this park, but now they have to share it with disc golf, which is, makes it a little bit unsafe to, like, walk around to some extent. You know what I mean? Like,
sure,
there's similar challenges, but I think I don't know how many skate parks there are in the country, but, like, do you think after the 900 effect, like, the number of skate parks, like, went through the roof?
Definitely.
And do you think that we have a similar thing going on with disc golf parks right now?
I hope Ryan's right, and that will be happening now.
Yeah.
That will be the trend moving forward in the next 3 to 5.
Well, and I think the exposure rates are the same. Like people walking through the park, how many kids do you know that have come to Delwood Park and now see disc golf and now are disc golfing?
Right.
They see it just like skateboarding. Like,
right.
Oh, there's a skate park. Those kids look cool as hell. I want to try that.
Right.
Same idea. People are getting the idea that it's not just throwing frisbees at baskets. It's it's a thing.
And we're seeing that across the country. I mean, I mentioned that I run a league, usually average like 35 people. This past summer, I averaged in the 80s. It was outrageous. We had to implement a rolling start because of how crazy it blew up.
Awesome.
And it would be ideal not to be in a pandemic right now, but it has seriously been so fortunate for disc golf.
Yeah. Wait, you would rather not be in a pandemic?
Yeah, not really.
Weird.
Going back to skateboarding though, something that is interesting, one of the reasons why so many municipalities have been building skate parks is because they're trying to keep skateboarders off the streets, damaging things. So I think we need to start playing disc golf in the middle of the road in random towns.
Funny you say that.
See if we can.
I have an idea brewing that I'm going to try to make happen, which will kind of be just that.
I had some buddies who used to play urban disc golf where they would just throw discs at trees in Chicago, but sometimes cars got hit.
Right.
So
just got to hit more cars. Maybe we'll get more courses.
Yeah.
Maybe
or
not.
more pedestrians.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah. Unstable Discourse does not condone any of these ideas.
I'm glad you brought up skateboarding because there are so many similarities. I mean, skateboarding. There's an argument on if you want to call it a sport or not. I will spare you guys that. But it's an individual thing where you're a part of a team. You're sponsored by the same board company as a bunch of other dudes. But in the contest, all that matters is what you do, not what they do. It's the same thing in disc golf. There's a bunch of people on Team Discmania, but what matters is what that one player is doing at that time. It's them versus everything else, you know? Right. And the camaraderie is very similar. You land a trick, you hit a putt, like people are going crazy. Yeah. The hospitality, I mean, in disc golf, you can travel to any event and I'm willing to bet somebody will be able to house you. Well, the skateboard culture is the exact same way, you know? And in skateboarding, like you mentioned, it doesn't matter like your age. Age isn't a thing at the skate park. Like everyone is skating together at that point. Like disc golf,
whether
it's
or not you're
any
good,
different.
in my experience, which was many years ago, whether or not you were good didn't even matter.
Right, exactly.
Like, because most of the dudes that weren't that good were also the guys that could tell you trick for trick what Chad Muska had in Fulfill the Dream, which was like also just as cool to know all of that information as it was to be able to do it.
And I think that's why I was so attracted to disc golf, because it was so much like skateboarding in a lot of ways, except it didn't hurt as much.
Right.
It's
hurts,
like the prestige. It hurts more emotionally.
To me, like it is when you, like what happened with you, 24 years old, it was the same for me. 2007, I was 24 years old.
It stopped being cool to have broken bones. You're like, I got to find something
I broke my throwing arm too. Like I'm a righty player now, but I wasn't. Like I was left-handed. So I had to learn to,
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I know so many people that eventually realized that same thing that happened with you and happened with me, that we grow up and we can't throw ourselves down sets of stairs anymore. And we have to, what is that other thing that we're going to do? And disc golf for me, 100%.
Me too.
So I know you loved the movie Mid-90s. Did you love the movie Mid-90s?
Of course.
Yes. When are we going to have a disc golf version of Mid-90s? Dude, how happy would that make
20
you?
years from now?
Yeah.
When that day comes, oh my God, I'll be so happy. That is a wrap on the peanut butter and jelly of this episode. Does anybody have beef? This is not something we do every episode, but every now and then, someone's got beef.
Please, someone have beef.
I have beef that we can't go spectate, but I'm also not allowed to have beef because it's Jeff Spring, the CEO of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, who's also like kind of, my boss in this a little bit with being a TD for Disc Golf Pro Tour.
I'm sure somebody has got his arms tied about the whole situation.
It sucks because that's absolutely the scenario. Like, his hands are tied, but
obviously he doesn't want to make that decision, but yeah, he's being forced to, and that sucks. I will share that beef with you.
Getting that phone call last night from Jeff Jackhart, which again, not throwing him under the bus whatsoever, is just the situation that he's in. But to have him tell me, even though like your annual vacation was surrounded by coming to my tournament, I can't let you come to my tournament. We're going to be blocks away in an Airbnb hanging out thinking about like, all I want to be doing is watching these guys play at Wild Horse and I can't. Like, I got beef with that. That sucks.
Yeah, it does
like,
suck.
I'm going to be in the desert and it's going to be 70 degrees. So I can't complain that much.
Yeah.
But
It was the whole point.
I'm freaking bummed.
Beef.
Well,
What are the guidelines for beef?
just anything that you're pissed off about.
I got some beef.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
beef.
So I got beef with the fact that Philo is not on the star team. I got some serious beef.
Seriously.
So he was demoted back in 2019. He was demoted. And I had
From star to champion?
From star to champion. And I had heard something like, Philo doesn't want to be touring as much. He would rather be teaching, whatever. And well, I get that. And then he came out in 2020 and had better years than some of the people on the star team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he'll get promoted in 2021 for sure. Especially with Thomas Gilbert leaving,
Sure.
Innova, who knows,
Yeah.
Then they announced their team and he was still team champion.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. So I got beef with that.
100% agree.
It's
he
crazy.
is one of the if there are personalities in our sport, he's definitely one of them. Like that dude is everywhere. He will just pop up here. I won't know about it. And he'll just come and hang out. And like anybody that wants to go hang out with him and do lessons, he's so chill, so down to earth.
The dude is an enigma, but definitely a
super
personality.
nice.
Yeah.
Truly.
And the fact that they don't see what we all know, it's not a matter of seeing it or not. I know. Like that dude is the real deal.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
The moves that Innova makes, just a lot of them just don't make sense to me, and that just adds to that list.
It's interesting. He posted, when did he post? I believe it was the new year. He had done a Philo-esque post and said something like, what are you looking forward to this year? And I commented and I said, I'm looking forward to you being promoted back to the star team on his post. And he responded saying, and this is on Instagram, I have screenshots too, I think it's still there, but he responded saying, I wouldn't hold my breath. I know where I belong, but it is what it is. Oof. And he put that in the comments on his own post. And I love that. But it's also like, why isn't Philo on
I
the
could
star
take that
team?
a few different ways because he is still an elite player, but in his mind, he is never good enough.
Right.
So I wonder if he meant I'm good enough, but they're not going to put me on that team, or if he meant, no, I belong on the champion team because I am not good enough to be, he gets in his head a lot, and I wonder what that meant. Truly.
And I don't know if it's because Jeremy Colling technically has a USDGC title. I don't know if it's big achievements. Philo, I mean, he's won. It's not like he hasn't won before, but those big recognizable events, he doesn't have any of those. And maybe that's why. I think that's a silly reason, but could be.
Yeah, who knows?
That's my beef.
That's great
good.
beef.
That's good beef.
Good beef.
Great beef.
And that takes us into the mailbag. Mail
Wow.
Ooh, that was good.
Okay. We still got it. We took a couple months off, but we got it.
I had to stop and take a breath in there.
Yeah, you did. I heard it.
All right. Let's hit this mailbag. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll start with Joe Moore. Lovely
never
Joe
heard of him.
Moore.
Jose Mas.
Jose Mas.
Joe Moore has a question.
Is that a new thing? I love that.
That's great.
For you, Ryan Miller. He wants to know, what do you do as an ambassador of Discmania?
So what I do as an ambassador, really, Discmania sends me all of the new releases, minus Tour Series discs. The Tour Series discs are primarily to support the toured players that travel. So they don't send us those, but they send us all their releases. And really, as an ambassador, I'm just to do something with it.
You are ambassading.
Exactly. Whether it's making content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, what have you. I think what it really comes down to, though, is just educating on the brand. Something that I know is part of my relationship with Discmania is the fact that I run leagues. I run an unsanctioned event once a year. Just being involved. I'm out not touring, but I'm playing sanctioned events in my area, representing Discmania in that realm. So it's just being an ambassador of the sport and having Discmania as the brand that's on my back as well.
Nice. Cool. Very cool.
And your front today.
And your
Yes,
front today.
And the
Definitely right on
front.
the front.
Yes, I'm wearing a Discmania sweatshirt. Discmania.
Dana Avicii.
Dane Avicii.
Vici.
All right, next question. Jordan Tukulka, I think is how you say the last name.
Taholka.
Tahulka. Jordan Tahulka wants to know two questions. Who's your pick for Clash this year? And what, in your opinion, is the hardest hole at Delhi?
Ooh,
We can't
What
even
is
really
the,
pick.
Wait.
yet.
What's the tightest hole at Delhi?
Jason.
Currently mine. Yeah.
Hey,
Doubt it.
I'm going to say, and there's probably going to be people that are going to disagree, I think pound for pound, the toughest hole at Delwood is 6C.
it is.
Pound for pound. It's not the longest hole.
It's not the
not a
longest
par
hole.
4.
No.
It is a one-shot hole. Pound for pound, 6C.
6C is
6C or 15.
relentless.
Because those are both holes where you will see
How was 13 long?
fives
Not the
and
answer.
sixes.
What's the hole with you throw off the bluff and the rivers to the right?
That's 6D.
I think
The
that
little
hole
downhill
is hard, too.
225. Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, people think that hard is length, and it's obviously not.
That's what she said.
There,
I was too busy laughing to get it out. Hard
there's
as left.
so many more times on 6C where you can kick and be punished brutally.
Yeah.
That is going to happen again 200 feet down the fairway, and you're not even to circle one yet. So
I don't think it's the hardest, but I think one of the best scoring spreads and the best hole in the course is 6A because it is not a park it at the basket and try and make your putt. It is a get past the Mando if you can, tight as shit, and then have a decent upshot. And especially for righties, if you hyzer out, you're in the creek. If you don't hyzer out and you go straight, you're in the bank. The scoring spread on that hole is incredible.
yeah.
And it's also
The
a beautiful
rough
hole.
is still on 6C is still very
The
thick.
rough is crazy. Yes.
It's so
Even with the
it's one stroke to get out.
Yeah, even with a couple of those small trees that used to be there that made it so much harder,
Yeah.
it is still an incredibly difficult hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the upshot from any errant drive is super touchy.
I've taken my share of 5s and 6s on that hole
Absolutely.
for sure.
Why is 13B not in the conversation?
13 down to the B pin.
Yeah. There's the water hazard. There's a hill. There's so much uncertainty.
I think because it hasn't been formed to its fullest potential yet.
Correct.
And I think Sean feels that way too.
Certainly do.
We played it for Clash.
That hole's
last
not
year,
done yet.
But it's not quite what it needs to be yet to be considered truly
That is
part of
exactly
that
how I feel
conversation.
about it. Like when it is at its final form, it will certainly be on that top 5
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Because of its length, because of its multiple shots. But
13 long to B is one of my favorite holes ever.
It's hard as
so
hell. and it's
impossible.
fun.
I was just talking about this the other day with Corey. That hole is not from the long tee, not done yet. I want to put in a new gap that makes that more feasible.
So something that you can strategize and play it
Right.
rather than it just being a good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know what you mean.
Do you have a pick for Clash this year?
Pick for Clash
We
this year.
can't because we don't know
There are
yet.
some people that are signed up that are signed up through the tour pass that I don't know if they are going to be here or not.
Yeah, they got signed up because the tour pass allowed them to sign up for everything at once, and they have yet to choose what they're going to play. Like guys like Brody Smith, a couple of the others are probably going to be in Europe, so they're not going to show up. But we won't know until they finally drop out of Clash. So
Too early to tell.
But to give him a vague answer, I'm always an underdog guy. I'd love to see one of the local pros. I think Alex is trying to get me to say him, that he will win Clash. One of the local pros kind of rise to the occasion and really show what this area has made, which is amazing disc golfers. No
There was a
doubt about
local
it.
that took second last year, wasn't there?
Yes.
Brian's brother?
Tommy Hart. Yep.
I want to root for Dan Schlitter.
Dan Schlitter. Yes.
yeah, I would love to see.
That'd be, I mean, it would be incredible because there's serious golfers. But like,
Him
I'd
or-
also like to
him
see
or
like a
Slauson.
Kyle Klein, like so young. He's signed up. That's awesome.
I think had
Give
James
me 1,001 odds and Kenny Slauson. I'll take the odds.
Okay.
I think had James not switched sponsors this offseason, he could be in question. I mean, if he shows up, being that it's
He's signed up. Yep.
canyons.
He's
and
signed up,
loves
and
these
he
courses.
specifically picked this as one of his stops. So he wasn't one of those tour pass people that were like, we're still up in the air about. According to James Conrad, he's coming.
Cool.
It'll be interesting to see how MVP works out for him.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that.
I cannot wait
It
to see
already
it.
seems like he's killing it with those discs. So good for him.
It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
MVP Open. It
Yep.
just makes sense.
Jefferson Kirby, and you guys will have to forgive me because I don't know enough to know if he's making a joke or asking a serious question.
First off, you know who that is, right?
Not off the top of my head. No.
JK Disc Golf.
That is Kirby's World. That's the other disc golf podcast that we checked out.
Oh,
He's got a YouTube channel too. JK Disc Golf.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so he's probably being serious then. Is it cheating to use both arms when disc golfing?
No, he's kidding.
He's kidding.
Oh, really?
He,
Damn it.
so he's
Son of a bitch.
he's asking that because I'm ambidextrous.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's because I broke my arm.
Okay,
So I can
sure.
I can throw both ways.
So yes, it's cheap. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Where's he from again?
Got it.
He is from, so he goes to Whitewater, UW Whitewater.
Okay.
But he is on the Illinois border. Like,
Okay.
He lives in
Because
Wisconsin.
I see
but
him
he's
enough.
on
Like he comes down a
Gray
bunch.
Foxes. Have you played Gray Fox?
Yeah.
So
Yep. It's
that's
been a minute,
his
but
home
yeah.
course is
Okay.
the Foxes. So Silver Lake area.
All right. The next question. Mike DiMatteo. DiMatteo. I gave it a shot and I knew I was going to fuck it up. What are your main strategies when putting together your disc golf bag? What are you guys thinking about?
Slower speed discs.
Right?
Thank you.
Putters. Bag of putters.
Yeah.
That's, like a instinct I've got in my bag. I've got Origin, I've got Essence, I've got Lynx, and I've got Senseis. Very simple, not a whole lot of high speed stuff. I prefer understable, touchy, hyzer flip type of discs.
So you want to be able
game.
to control the flight rather than
100%.
watching it soar.
I can't throw it far, so I have to throw it good.
Okay.
So I have to throw it with touch and control, which you're only going to see out of slow speed drivers typically with my arm speed.
With the exception of my PD2, everything is 10 speed and below. And like the 10 speeds that I'm throwing are like CD2s, which are like the most underrated driver, in my opinion.
Yeah.
One of them, anyhow.
I think it comes down to feel for me. Like I've tried a lot of discs and Sean jokes around with me because weights don't matter is a phrase that I've used several times. And I'm not saying that weights don't make a difference, but to me, when I'm throwing a disc, I'm not paying attention to what weight it is. Does it fly right for me? And then I will determine whether that works, whether it's a 160 or a 175. I'm not looking for a specific speed or a specific slot or something like that. I'm trying the discs and I fit them to my play rather than trying to find a 5-speed and a 6-speed and a 7-speed and an 8-speed, because that doesn't make a difference to me.
Last year, there was that trend that was going on where there's that website where you can put your discs.
Yeah. What's it called?
I forget.
Build your bag or something like
Flight
that?
chart, my flight chart maybe, or something like
bag
that.
Or something like that.
But you put your discs in there and it like showed you a visual on your flight chart and people would determine the gaps that are missing in their bag
Correct.
based on what this chart said.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't have a specific shot, then adding a disc that's 8 speed isn't going to fix it. Like you just got to figure out which disc you already throw.
Right.
You can manipulate
Was that
to do
website
that.
brought to you by infinitediscs.com. Click here. Click.
You're a fan of the Night Strike as well.
Love the Night Strikes.
Yeah, that disc for me has filled so many different spots that other discs probably could have filled. But it doesn't make sense for me to bag a bunch of discs that do what that one disc does. So
that's what the Essence was for me.
Yeah.
This past year when I switched to the Evolution line, the Essence replaced my Beast, Sidewinder, Leopard, and T-Bird based on the angle that I threw it on, and I couldn't believe that was a thing. Mm-hmm. My mind was blown, and I was like, well, this is what I'm going to continue to do.
Yeah.
The Essence is so good.
It is great.
All right, that's enough disc golf talk.
Jason is
in the
over
mailbag.
it.
Yeah. With final 2 questions in tonight's mailbag are not disc golf related. Obviously.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I could feel that you were very concerned that I was never going to get to these other questions.
Yeah.
So I guess this first question is going to be probably towards Ryan, considering that he's the guru of the fashion that Unstable Discourse puts out into the world.
Sure.
He wants to know when we can expect some unstable underwear.
Oh,
who asked this?
Jared Gardner.
Jared Gardner.
Former guest of the show.
Yeah.
I'm wearing them right now.
Or
so,
at least give us some damn socks. That's what he said.
Yeah, I got to make some more socks, but I'm wearing the Unstable
You've made
Discourse
socks so
ones
many times.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm through with them, he's welcome to them.
This pair.
Yeah.
Did he ask for Unstable Disc Golf gear underwear or for Unstable Discourse underwear?
Just unstable underwear.
Oh,
Yeah.
So he kind of left it open, which is weird.
Yeah.
And did he mean branded or just you guys, when you're done with your
Right.
underwear, just
Right.
giving it
Right.
over?
Right. Well, either
Or
way.
does he mean underwear that doesn't serve a purpose? It's just underwear that is unstable. Like you
Right.
go to put it on and then it falls right back
Okay,
off or something.
sure.
It's
Like
Yeah.
the elastic
physically
is
unstable. Yeah.
Well, I will. I will
You'll
save
make
these.
some, but the leg holes will be sewn shut, so you can't.
Right.
Right.
You go to step in.
You
them
go
and
to
just-
step in and
fall
you
over.
fall over
Right.
Or make the
because
legs
you're
different
unstable.
lengths.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very unstable. You
Yeah.
can definitely do that.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, Jared
Oh,
Gardner.
God. Could you
Unstable
imagine that?
boxers where there's
different
it's-
length.
they're-
Oh God.
Yeah, they're like
No.
boxer briefs, but there's
Yeah.
only one leg. The other side is just brief.
Yeah.
Boxer brief. That's what they're for. Yeah.
By definition. That's so
There
good.
you go, Jared. That's what you wanted, right?
And so the last question in tonight's mailbag actually has a visual element to it, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
Mr. Ryan Aquino,
Oh,
handsome
here
Ryan
we
Aquino,
go.
he sent a picture of a hot dog bun, peanut butter on one side, jelly
Sesame
on the
seed,
other.
sesame seed.
Odd choice on the sesame seed, definitely.
Right? Sesame seed?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other, banana right up the middle. And he wants us to discuss whether or not that concoction is a sandwich.
Oh, I think let's start with Ryan Miller because he originally,
They brought it up right at the top.
He
before we
brought it
started
up
recording. Yeah.
episodes ago.
Yeah.
When we had that discussion. So what do you?
So I'm on team hot dog is a sandwich.
Okay.
Smart man.
And because that banana is sandwiched between two things of bread on both sides, especially if that sesame seed bun breaks in half and it's two pieces, it's absolutely a sandwich.
2 pieces of bread, peanut butter, jelly, sandwich.
Banana is just the meat of it.
Would you eat that sandwich?
Hell yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would
It
too.
sounds you could even put a little honey on top.
Baby.
My man.
You want to know
My
something?
man with the
you wanna know
honey.
something crazy about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? This is so bizarre. All my life,
How
Oh
bizarre.
my God.
I had made
Where is this going to go?
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches by putting peanut butter on one slice of bread,
Yeah.
jelly on the other slice.
And then you smash them
And
together.
Like
putting
a
them
true
together.
American
Is there
does.
some other way?
So for 10 years,
I don't know if I
lived
wanna
in
hear this.
Indiana. Okay. I lived in like, I want to say southern Indiana, but I worked with a guy that for his lunch, he would just throw a loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter, and a jar of jelly in a bag and make PB&Js, like, because he never knew if he was like how hungry his level of
Sure.
lunch
I could see
was,
that.
right?
I can respect
So he
that,
would, am I going to eat 2 today, 3 today, whatever, blah, blah. He made peanut butter and jelly in a way that I had never seen made before. And everybody else I worked with was like, why are you doing it the other way? And it changed my life. He put peanut butter on both slices and then like took a spoonful of jelly and put it on one and then kind of like pushed the edges to kind of seal the jelly within the peanut butter. And he's like, it's twofold. A, doesn't jelly make the bread soggy? And I was like, okay, fair point.
Yeah.
B, don't you bite into a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and jelly squirts out the bottom? And I was like, another fair point. He's like, neither of those things happen in this situation. The peanut butter seals the jelly inside. And since then, I've always made PB&Js that way.
I don't like it only because I want a very equal amount of peanut butter and jelly in every bite.
Same.
Really?
Same.
Yeah. And
No,
mine don't
made-
last.
I
They don't
love
last
peanut
long
butter.
enough
Yeah.
for the jelly to
20 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
You guys remember when Skippy released that
Yeah.
that sliced cheddar and jelly or
Yeah.
cheddar?
Cheddar and jelly.
Added to the list of things I've said
Swedish
wrong.
cheddar and jelly.
Swedish
Pin
cheddar
dinner.
fruitation. New YouTube channel.
God damn it. That's so
No, it was peanut butter and jelly as like a slice of cheese almost that you unwrapped and then you just slapped
Oh,
it
yes.
down
You
on
just
the
put
bread.
it right in the bread. Yes.
my God.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
I don't remember
gross.
that.
It's
I mean, I've seen
terrifying.
like what do they
That
call
is
it?
10% peanut butter, 90%
Goobers,
preservatives.
where it's like
Goobers.
both in the
Yeah.
jar. That's
Yeah,
what I
the
thought you were going to
stripes
say.
of peanut butter and
no.
jelly.
Yeah, they did. It was like a slice of American cheese. Like
Yeah.
sealed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of peanut butter and jelly, to add to this, my
That's a
daughter,
process that we don't need faster.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
You don't have time for a sandwich,
Yeah.
bro.
My daughter cannot bring peanut butter and jelly to school because you can't have
Sure,
peanut butter within. It's like peanut butter is now like a
can't
child
say bomb.
molester, right? You can't have it within
say
200
bomb
feet
on
of a
plane.
school, just in case.
Have
So,
you heard Louis C.K.'s bit about this?
I bet
it's
it's
so great. He's like,
But-
maybe you just don't need to exist. If you're allergic to peanut, if a peanut can kill you, maybe you weren't supposed to
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
what I have found, actually my wife found it, is not peanut butter but sunflower butter.
Okay.
That's good.
And when in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it is almost indistinguishable.
yep.
No way.
But by itself, it just smells like peanut butter that's like a decade old. It still smells kind of like peanut butter, but you're like, something's turned a little bit.
Turned.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Like my daughter loves it more than peanut butter, and I'm
It's
I'm
healthier
struggling
too,
with
right?
that.
I think it's healthier.
Probably.
Yeah.
I have a designated peanut butter spoon in the house. I will just dig in, and I absolutely love
Yeah.
peanut butter. We go through so much of it. Because
Here's a random
because of
fact
me.
that nobody knows about Caddie on the internet.
Ooh, here we go.
What
I-
have you done with peanut butter
dirt,
that
yeah,
is about to shock us?
Yeah, that's what we're getting into.
UD exclusive.
I was actually allergic to it. And when I was young, spoonful, just like you, my mom would have to hide the peanut butter jar because I would eat it. And then she'd find me like in secret spots covered in hives. Because I just loved it so much. I ate my way out of that allergy.
Hell
no
yeah.
longer
Dude,
allergic
that's
to peanut
amazing.
butter. Yeah.
Nice.
Random
See,
fact.
Listen up.
All the studies are
Karen.
saying it's
Yeah,
because of
yeah,
the lack of exposure is what's
Right.
causing the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed.
It's almost like what we've been saying the whole time about kids needing to be toughened up is true.
Yeah.
yeah.
Weird.
That takes us to a brand new segment, which we are calling Pinned It. Brought to you by discgolfpins.com.
Come on, Nina.
No, what's it actually called? Let me take that again. What's her name?
Nina.
Nina. And this is a segment where we talk about moments of the show, of this episode, that were just pinned. Perfect. Jason.
Yeah, I'll lead it.
Lead us.
Fruitation. 1,000%. I'm gonna try to bring things into fruitation for the rest of my life. Yeah.
I mean, even when you know it's wrong, because
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
still
as
so
he was
right.
saying it,
Yeah.
he was like, that was wrong.
Yeah.
He said it with the confidence of 10 men.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I have
loved
mad
it.
respect for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he just kept going.
Yeah.
Great.
Pinned it.
And all of us were
Pinned
like,
it. Yeah.
I can respect that. Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
That's
that's
right.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I actually think
That's
you
what I'm
pinned
saying.
it a couple times in this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they all stay in.
What did you just, a couple minutes ago, you said, what did you say? Peanut butter and cheddar?
Cheddar.
Yeah, cheddar. Yeah.
It's always better with cheddar.
Pinned it.
Pinned it.
Well, he's a
absolutely.
cheesehead, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
That's it.
Cheese on the mind.
Yep.
Anybody else have a moment that they felt just
I did.
like,
I think we pinned it when I realized that my wife is Ryan Miller's wife.
Yeah.
And that's it. That
we
was
got
it.
share a wife?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She is at
Share a
work
wife.
quite a lot, and I think I figured out why.
She's not at work. She's
Those
living her
2-hour
other
drives
life.
she's out
with-
skateboarding with Ryan Miller.
Yeah.
No wonder my wife wants me out of the house.
It's an ideal situation for her. She doesn't have to memorize a new name.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Very
My
true.
God.
Yep.
There we go. A couple nice moments brought to you by Disc Golf Pins.
Come on.
Come on,
Come on,
Nina.
Nina. But yeah, thanks Disc Golf Pins. We're going to be doing one of those every episode. And if you guys want to check out the pins that they made for this show, drop into the shop. They're available here, and they look amazing. We'll make sure we post some pictures of those, and we'll also put a link to their social media somewhere,
Absolutely.
so you can see all the other cool things they do, and they can make pins for whatever needs you may have. So,
Yep.
Thank you, Disc Golf Pins. And that takes us to the trivia portion of the night.
We actually don't have a trivia portion of the night, so I'm glad everybody chimed in tonight. But we have some great news with regards to what season 2 is going to bring us for the trivia portion of the night.
Tell us, Jay. Tell us.
So I have partnered with Perfect Putt 360.
Just killing the game with the sponsors, Jason.
So this segment is brought to you by Perfect Putt 360. It is a putting practice app designed to mimic tournament-type pressure in a game that makes putting practice fun. You can download Perfect Putt 360 today on the App Store or Google Play. Hashtag every putt counts. So what that means to the listener is now every time we do the trivia portion of the night, the winner will be awarded a free version of Perfect Putt 360. They are going to, all I have to do is get the person's information and find out whether they have an Android device or an Apple device. If you have an Apple device, you can be gifted the app totally for free. If you have an Android device, you will be given a Google Play credit for the amount of the app that you
Sick.
can then download the app. And there's also a fun thing I'm personally going to be
This
doing.
is the part I really wanted to hear about.
With Perfect Putt 360. So I have decided to dip my big fat toes into the world of disc golf.
I've seen them. I've
The
seen those toes.
we've seen on OnlyFans.
Yep. And I am going to download and use Perfect Putt 360 to start to figure out how much I like disc golf, because I like that it's not only learning to disc golf, but there's also a game element as well. I'm not like a huge gamer, but I do enjoy games. So I'm definitely excited to be able to play, track my score, look at improvements the next time I play. We're
So-
going to be discussing this
Yeah.
every time we do an episode. I
We
didn't
will
do it
track
this
your
week,
progress.
but we will track my progress, and
We
that'll
will
be
get to see Jason become a man before our very eyes.
I know. Should be
How is your
interesting.
shoulder?
Getting back. Look at this.
Whoa.
That's
Yeah,
higher
like
than it's ever
full-
been.
Yep. Almost full
That was
rotation.
almost a full Sig Heil.
Yeah. It's getting there. I don't know. We'll have to see. I might start off right-handed because I can. It's just easier left-handed.
Well, it's
but,
cheating if you switch.
It is
So,
cheating. That's
yeah.
what I learned tonight.
Yeah.
Is that it is cheating
Correct.
if you switch. So we'll
Yeah.
see. But I am excited to spend the rest of 2021 figuring out if I like what you guys do or if I think you're crazy and I just want to show up and talk about silly shit each week.
I hope you like it.
I have a feeling I will.
Are you going to be sharing videos of you putting? Like, is there going to be an opportunity?
He's not going to have
for
a choice if while he's putting, I'm filming him.
Yeah.
Because what I want is for him to get unsolicited advice from.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
If you need up the DMs.
If you need some inspiration, I have a video on the YouTube channel where I do a round of practice putt 360 in the pouring rain.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Yeah. Huh.
It's on there if you need some
But it
inspiration.
is on there? All right, fair enough. I will check it out.
Wait, is it called practice putt or perfect putt 360?
It's perfect putt. Did I say practice? Because I said that in my YouTube video too.
Yeah.
Pinned it.
Got him.
Perfect putt 360.
No one said to have a YouTube channel. You had to be able to speak.
But that's awesome. Thank you, Jason, for bringing Perfect Putt 360 to the table and for coming up with this awesome idea.
And,
for bringing it to Fruitation.
I had an idea. I brought it to Fruitation.
That is super cool. And thank you to Perfect Putt 360 for contributing to the show and giving something for our listeners to engage with and get a little more out of this. So thank you, guys. And you know what, y'all? That is a wrap on episode 1 of season 2.
2.1.
Wow.
2.1 is in the book.
Why was that so easy? I thought for sure it was going to be hard, but
That's what she said.
oh, there we go.
Gets easier every time, dog.
That's right.
Thank you guys for listening. This was a lot of fun. Of course, I think I speak for everybody when I say that we missed doing this. Can't wait to do this. We're going to aim for probably the same amount of episodes this season, right?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk with
Well,
you
I won't
more
be
and see
here
what
in
it's
2
time for.
weeks. So.
Yeah. For the most part, I would expect us to drop an episode pretty much every 2 weeks. And we're probably going to put out about 15 episodes and maybe some bonus content. We'll see. Things will evolve as they evolve. But we're glad you're here with us. Thanks for listening. If you don't mind, drop us a review. Smash that like button. Share this with your friends and family. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for driving all the way down here for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Totally worth it. Thank you.
And until next time, guys, keep it tight. And
You never knows how to finish the episode. Come on.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Listen to Unstable Discourse on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or right from Buzzsprout.com. And if you have the time, leave us a rating and review. It helps the podcast get to more listeners.
Unstable Discourse is a top secret studios production.
All right, let's hear what do you want to shout out Levon for specifically? What is I mean, he's done a lot. His credentials are he's probably one of the most decorated people in the history of disc golf, I have to think, from everything I've heard so far. But what are some of the things that specifically have made you feel like, he deserves some spotlight?
Yeah, so Levon has a very long history, and I'm sure you'll have to edit this thing down, but UDisc or someone had put out a little thing recently where it showed the top, 25 or 50 players in the world over time, and it does that little bar graph thing where it shows you where they rank.
Yeah.
Sometime in the mid 80s, Levon was the 4th best player in the world. So it kind of started there. Then he TD'd the 1993 World Championships, and he was involved in a lot of course design early on. He helped design Redstone, which is our second oldest course in town, and then he's designed most of the courses that we have in town. The next big thing that he did after the 93 World Championships, as far as I can tell, because he had kids that he raised after that, and he kind of got back into it in the late 2010 or 2000s, I guess, and he was one of the founding members he helped found Prodigy Disc Golf.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you're setting a high bar, Clint. I don't know how anybody else is gonna shine a light on somebody with more, accolades.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll probably miss some stuff too. I mean, he's told me so many things. Like he helped. If you notice on disc golf baskets, the top of the chains where it connects to the top of the basket, it's like slanted up, so the chain has some give to it. But if you look at old baskets, there's just a little loop that it connects to, and he told Steady Ed, like he came up with that and told Steady to take it, and they improved the basket that way. So that was like early on.
Oh my God. Let me recap so far, because there's already been a lot. So he's one of the top players in the history of disc golf over time. He's he was the tournament. He directed one of the world championship tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
He designed Redstone, which is a pretty well-known and beloved course. He's designed multiple other courses in your area. He's
designed over 60 courses.
Wow. Good God. Okay.
The other thing about Levon is he's either 66 or 67 now. And when he designs a course, locally at least, he also goes out there and helps install it, even if it's in the middle of a forest. I mean, he'll go out there with a chainsaw and just cut and work. He's a super hard worker. He's like super fit for an older guy. I mean, I know he's fitter than I am, and he's like 30 years older than me.
Wow.
The Prodigy thing. So he helped found Prodigy, but they had some differences of opinion, and so he's not part of Prodigy anymore, and he hasn't been for several years. The latest thing that he's really done that people are aware of is he invented the quick stick, and he owns End Zone Disc Golf, who distributes the quick stick.
So that was probably the thing I was most excited to talk to you about, because I own a quick stick. I love them, and I think they're really popular in our area. Sean, who does the podcast with us, and he runs Delwood Disc Golf. He sells those out of the shop, and they sell like hotcakes. People love them. And Levon, actually, I connected with him. What was it? I think 2 years ago, maybe now, to see if he wanted to be a sponsor for one of our big local tournaments. I believe it was the Clash of the Canyons. And yeah, he was more than happy to donate some quick sticks to the cause. He didn't ask me too many questions. He just kind of was like, yep, happy to help out. And that ended up helping that we used those to give to the spotters who were spotting near water. So anytime someone's disc went in the water, they used a quick stick donated by Levon to help retrieve those. And then, as people saw lots of people using those and seeing how great they were, that helped to sell a few more of those, I think, in the Delwood shop. So,
yeah, he sold a ton of them. And honestly, it keeps. I was just going to say that it keeps him very busy. He's like working 7 days a week to try to get some quick sticks out of the office. I mean, it's a lot.
Even at his age, he's continuing to work on courses. He's got this invention and a business that he's building. And he still competes in MPO. That too. He's still competing too, huh?
Yeah, he's like 960 something rated as a 67-year-old.
Jesus, I feel like I need to take an inventory of what I've done with my life.
You think about him being so good for so long. I mean, and he's super fit, so there's really no reason. He competes with us. I mean, he cashes more often than he doesn't.
It's just crazy to be. Crazy. It's crazy to be performing. At the top of your game in so many aspects of your life. Like if somebody gave his life a report card, he'd be getting A's in like every category.
Yeah, he's got a lot of energy. I don't understand it. Like I don't have that much energy. I'm too lazy for his lifestyle.
Well, that's just a crazy amount of passion and energy, and your community is definitely lucky. I mean, first off, the whole sport is lucky to have had him, playing the role he's been playing, but your community especially, that's I think every community in the world would just be so lucky to have a member like that doing so many big things, bringing the sport to so much prominence and helping to elevate standards. And there's a lot to point to there.
You mentioned that it brought up a really important point that I forgot about, is that Levon founded the Disc Golf Hall of Fame, and he was on he was on the PDGA standards committee for like 15 years. He helped develop the standards that they use to test discs for approval.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if it has anything to do with disc golf, Levon has probably had his hand in it. And more often than not, if he has his hand in it, then he was probably leading it. He's crazy. I don't know. He's like he's sort of like Nick Saban as far as the energy that he has at his age. I mean, it is nuts.
Yeah, that's nuts. And yeah, I'll say it one more time. I think your community is super lucky to have him. Every community that has anybody, every community deserves somebody like that. And the whole sport is better for everything that he's done. And yeah, you guys are certainly lucky to have him. So Levon, here's to you. Cheers. Hopefully this makes its way back to Levon. I would love to get his feedback on this. And Clint,
yeah, maybe he'll if he can slow down a minute and listen to a podcast, maybe he'll listen in and he'll probably be like, yeah, you missed this or that. It's like, probably. Oh God, I did my best.
Yeah, no, man, that's quite a list. I mean, it's just crazy. So, hey, Clint, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you sharing all this time and history with us. That's one thing that we really want to do more with our show this year is uncover some of the history that new players just have no idea about. So this is great.
Yeah, maybe you can get Levon on the podcast. He's a great person to talk to, and he's got just a wealth of knowledge. So,
well, I'm sure we'd love to have him. I've spoken to him before, and he's just real easy to talk to, and yeah, tons of